High school, I was drunk.
I've always been a hen house. I had all sisters.
Yeah.
I've got, that alone is a hen house. You hear what he just said?
Yeah.
Get out of here, prejudiced, unloving woman.
Do we call it a rooster pack here?
5 daughters, 13 granddaughters, 3 great-granddaughters.
That's terrible.
I know. And I tell them that. I said, hen house. They go, yeah, we got you trained.
We're up. So no hen house remarks anymore.
Okay.
I think this tax thing is going to go through in the next 24.
Yeah. Well, you got to do 20 hours of debate.
Did you see yesterday up 150? Today we're up 200. If it goes through, I see another 200 or 300 that I'm taking profit, man. I hope they do they still have in the get rid of the have to pay for health insurance thing, the mandate?
Both of them are going to be different.
God, I hope they get rid of that so much.
So did you? What was I just going to tell you something profound?
You go ahead.
AT&T just said if that tax bill goes through, they'll add 7,000 jobs. Profound?
That is profound. I'll tell you, Tom, Mr. Trump will never win again. When people see more money literally in their paycheck.
Never in a million years.
Just like he'd never win to begin with in a million years.
Never.
You remember yourself saying those words.
I remember that. I remember that.
Okay. He'll never win, Mark. There's no way. It won't happen for 3 months leading up to the election, including the night of the election, folks.
Mark,
I implore you.
So a new million years has started.
A new million years has started.
I got so much criticism because I never gave up faith in him ever.
I told everybody on the air he was going to win the night of the election.
I did too.
And he's laughing at me.
Everybody gave me crap too, and
People that vote for Trump are like me. Well, that's not true because I'm on the radio, but we're in certain places we would never say we're voting for Trump. I went to the car wash one time with the Make America Great hat on, and I swear to God, every single illegal Mexican there almost beat me up. So I learned real quick, you know what, shut up. If they ask questions, I'm done. Because during that election in the primary, they made it out, if you like Trump, you are a racist, which was the biggest bunch of shit in the world.
I had black friends and Hispanic friends that all told me they wouldn't tell anybody that they were going to vote for Trump. Even the gay people.
Even the gays.
My sister's gay, my nephew's gay, but among them, even them.
He's about as politically correct as me in every which way.
You just said even the gay people. Well, even the gay people were telling me that they couldn't say it to their friends, but they were going to vote for Trump. I know that there was this group out there that wouldn't admit it, and that was happening to the polling.
How about the Orientals?
Don't have any Orientals. I have some Asian friends.
Tom says yesterday, those aren't people, those are rugs.
But they're damn nice rugs.
Suzanne drugged me out years ago to look at some of these rugs. I had no idea. There's $50,000 rugs and more.
Oh yeah. And there's a lot of fakes too.
With the new school year.
They're made out of mohair.
Revolutionary.
Who's Mo?
They're made out of Mo's hair. Naugahyde rugs. We have this listener that wanted us to see his custom. No, it wasn't a custom. It was a classic car. What was that one? What was the car? He was so serious too.
Like an 83 Cutlass.
It was something like
Very
that.
similar. And it had Naugahyde seats.
It was something like that.
God, I almost fell down.
He brought it here.
He brought it here for us to see, but it was like it was like that, man. It could have been. Is it Corey?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the real deal. I talked to his mom once at length. His mom's on heavy meds too for schizophrenia. He refuses to take his.
I have so many questions about sexual harassment. I don't really know what it is. I mean, I know what not to do. I mean, I have a common sense, but I don't know legally what the definition is. The most recent shocker was Matt Lauer and Garrison Keillor, was it? Garrison?
That's right.
Oh, my goodness. He said, you know, not everything's accurate, but I'm not going to fight it at 75. Matt Lauer said, you know, most of it's not true, but the parts that are true are enough that I apologize. I mean, they always have to qualify something, and then some people flat out deny. It really doesn't matter what they say. It's what the reaction has been around the country.
You know, with Matt Lauer, it came out today. I mean, these women are coming out of the woodwork now, and they're saying this has been going on so long, but NBC is saying they didn't know anything. That seems almost impossible.
You know, the psychology of it seems to be that these men, honest to God, feel that they're so powerful and so wonderful that women should do what they want. It's a power trip. I'm not going to ask the EEOC about why men do it. I'm not going to ask the EEOC about, you know, the background of it. But I will ask the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunities Commission, I will ask them what it is. Because when you have a complaint about discrimination, sexual harassment, or something on the workplace dealing with that, you have to go to them first, and they make a determination. I believe that's the process. You can't even bring a lawsuit until you first go to the EEOC. And then I believe the EEOC can do one of three things. They can say you don't have a case, and I think you can still bring one civilly. They can say you do have a case, and then you bring your private action. And then they can say, I believe, you do have a case, and we'll take it on. That's what I want to find out. So I'm going to ask Mary O'Neill. She is with the EEOC. Mary, you are an attorney at law, and does the EEOC have city offices, state offices, regional? How does it work?
Yes, I'm an attorney, and we have offices. We have one in Denver, we have one in Phoenix, we have one in Albuquerque. I cover 5 states. We don't have an office in Utah or Wyoming, but we have contracts with state agencies that are called Fair Employment Practices agencies, and so they also do that kind of work.
So you have regional offices and state contracted offices. So
Right.
My question to you, what is sexual harassment?
All right,
Really?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Sexual harassment in the workplace is, the law defines it. I should
Right.
give a little background. The Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 just says you can't treat people differently in the terms and conditions of their employment based on sex. It doesn't have the word harassment in there. And in 1986, the U.S. Supreme Court, in a Meritor savings case, this was a woman whose boss demanded that she sleep with him to keep her job.
Wow.
Supreme Court defined sexual harassment and said sexual harassment violates Title VII. And so it's not that long ago for some of us. And so the law really defines sexual harassment as unwelcome. That's the first part, must be unwelcome. Verbal, nonverbal, visual, or physical conduct of a sexual nature. So it could be any of those 4 things. The way somebody looks, the way somebody talks, the way somebody physically acts. It must be of a sexual nature, or based on somebody's sex. We can talk about that.
Right.
And that alters the working conditions or creates a hostile work environment. So you'll hear people say harassment, you'll hear people say hostile work environment because of sex. It's the same thing. And as I said, it must be unwelcome. So for it to be a legal case, it has to be all those things. And the court also said, and the court just a little bit made this up, said the conduct must be either severe or pervasive. So those are the other 2 things that, in order for there to be a legal case, it must be.
Now, that's a legal case, but certainly an employer can take action for things less.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, we say employers should, because if you play around the edges, you're going to get in trouble. It's just like raising kids, right? You have to sort of set a rule and say, this is our code of conduct. In a workplace, employers can say, this is our code of conduct. You shall not do blank, 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 blank.
Okay.
And a good workplace takes action appropriately early on. So if somebody makes an off-color joke, the best way to handle that is just nip that in the bud and stop it right there.
I have a question, several, but the first one is unwelcomed.
Yes.
So I want to know, does everyone get then one chance to find out if it is welcomed or not? I've heard that it can't be unwelcomed unless the woman, let's just talk about what really is happening now. But we'll say, of course, it can happen the other way. But if a man approaches a woman and says, you really, look good, or you fill out those jeans, something, let's just say something vulgar. I don't want to say it on the air. Just say something. And then she says, I don't appreciate those kinds of comments. So the first time free or not?
No, not necessarily. I mean, if a reasonable person or a reasonable woman would find that offensive, just don't do it.
And then touching, I would say, for sure, if you grab someone in the breast or the buttocks or hug them, you can't use the excuse, well, I don't know, it was unwelcomed.
Right, exactly. Anything physical.
It's whatever a reasonable person.
I see cases with sexual assaults. I see cases with physical grabbing of teenagers. I see the worst of the worst. Rape cases, frankly.
Yeah, the things that these men seem to say. One of the most common defenses. It wasn't unwelcomed. It was consensual. So isn't it hard to prove without verbal? If a woman went along with it, that's the thing. And then she says, well, I felt I had to. How do you dissect a case like that?
Well, there's lots of ways we dissect it. We want to find out exactly how she responded. We want to find out if it's happened before. I've been doing this for 40 years. I have never seen a case where there's one victim. There's always a pattern of behavior. You're seeing this in the news now. Sexual harassers engage in sort of the same conduct over and over and over with different women. They're always testing boundaries. They're like sexual predators. They're like a pedophile. They're like a rapist. They're testing boundaries to see if they're going to be able to get away with it, right?
Right.
I mean, so they'll brush up against somebody, or they'll make comments about the way somebody looks, or they'll stare at the breasts, or whatever. They're testing boundaries. But one of the ways we look at this is to see if there's other victims. And I'll tell you, in my experience, there's always other victims. So
that is one thing you look for, a pattern. When a woman complains, can she go directly to the EEOC, or do you recommend they go to their employer first?
Well, in general, if the employer has a policy, an anti-harassment policy, and has a procedure like you have to go to HR to complain, it is best for the person to do that. What I would highly recommend is that it not just be verbal, but it be in writing, and you keep a copy, because lots of times employers will say she didn't actually complain. So having written verification of this is really important.
Mary, what kind of, like NBC, for example, if it's proven that numerous people had complaints about Matt Lauer, or maybe even other people there, or multiple people there, what happens to NBC? Can you guys go in and fine them? Can you shut them down? Yeah, what power do you have?
That's a good question. What is your function at the EEOC?
You said it pretty correctly early in your intro. People have to file a charge with either the EEOC or a state agency before they can go to court on their own. We do an investigation in most cases. Sometimes we don't know whether there's been a violation of the law, and so we issue a notice of right to sue. We're not saying there wasn't harassment or there wasn't a violation of the law. We're just saying we don't have enough to know.
Right.
Or we can find,
right,
yes, there's been discrimination here against this woman and 20 other women. Or I can tell you about a case I had against Sonic. It was 100 women.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And either a private lawyer can handle that or we can handle it. So my staff of lawyers can litigate these cases in federal.
When do you choose if you're going to take it, or you let the victim do it on their own?
Well, if they have their own lawyer, and it's only and there's no class, which would be unusual, we let them do it on their own.
Because it's a punishment. I have to pay to stop a predator.
Well, somebody may choose that, but if there is a class case, or if there's a group of vulnerable workers, there's undocumented workers who are being sexually assaulted by their boss, there are teenage workers who are being sexually assaulted by their boss. If
you
it's
guys
a class
will take
case,
it.
we will handle those cases to stop a problem that is a significant size. Certain industries, janitorial places, fast food service places.
Right.
There's particular industries that we focus on. If we can have a big impact, we will take that case and litigate that case. And in terms of what we can get is back pay for people who have been fired, and we should talk about retaliation. I'm sure you're going to talk about it. Back pay for people who have been fired or who left the work because it was so intolerable. We can get compensatory damages. That's the emotional distress part of it. And punitive damages. When you have a situation where an employer knows they have a problem, had complaints, there's an opportunity under Title VII to get punitive damages if this goes to trial.
But what about the perpetrator? Does he get to pay sometimes? Can he, does he, would
It's a great question.
Would Matt Lauer ever be fined personally?
Yeah, under Title VII, it's the company that pays. Now, there are some state statutes where you can go after the individual, and then sometimes you can go after the individual under common law, like under an assault, a tort. That's if somebody's been physically assaulted, you can go after the individual who caused that physical assault, for example.
I got you.
I'm not talking about Title VII, but there's some other remedies.
All right, we have to take a break right now. We have questions. If any listeners have questions, I'm going to get to your consumer problems, questions, complaints. But this is so important. So many people don't understand what's going on. They truly don't know what it is. But I think Mary truly summed it up pretty easily. Unwelcome sexual advances or comments or actions
I've got a really important question for
that a common person would say is unwelcome. So as you can tell, this is going to be a very very interesting interview, and then we'll go on and take all of your calls. One Clear Choice Garage Doors for all your garage door needs, including, of course, broken springs, sudden needs. Like if you have a sudden need and you need them right away, OneClearChoiceDoors.com, 303-565-6409, the best garage door company around, 565-6409.
Did you see that email I sent you? That is scary shit.
Sponsored for
downtown, gonna be very slow. Northbound I-25.
I wonder about he's going to this thing, and he said, if I'm going to learn about it, see if I can get in.
Okay, give me one update at a time. Who do I need to get on for an update? Who's the...
And we probably would want to do it next hour.
Maintenance is going to clog up the drive.
Maybe the dentures?
The dentures? Yeah, we got his refund.
We definitely got it. He got his money?
He got his money.
Okay. Can I just take this then, and I'll give him a call for an update at the next hour?
His money back.
Okay, great.
This guy has his money back. The lady in the trailer?
Yeah.
I got somebody split the garage or something?
No, she took off with a, quote, much older man. She's gorgeous.
I know, I think I've seen one a while back on
The people who
she went to New York, right?
$5,500.
Well, they don't know where she went. The scary part is they're talking about,
I talked to him.
Like slavery, basically, right?
well, here's now Texas where they're being lured by a much older man on Snapchat. But her passport's missing.
You know what's funny is I think if somebody said something to me, if they couldn't say it in front of Mark, they shouldn't be saying it.
That's a good way to put it.
Really.
Somebody else said yesterday, if
that is one, pardon me, if that is one that he would have never said in front of Mark or you. He was walking behind me and I had leggings on and he was just telling me how good I was. And I never mentioned it, I mean, because I wasn't going to cause a big shit storm in our office. But,
No, I would have fucking cracked him.
well, I just knew he would have never said that in front of you, his wife, or Mark. I knew he would have never said that to you.
Good standard. Yeah.
So.
I love kids. My wife now says when I comment to people, oh, you have beautiful little kids, she says, they're going to think you're a pedophile.
Oh, God, my dad one time said something in the park. He was with my kids, and he said something, and he said the woman looked at him so strange, he just doesn't even say anything like that.
I love kids, and I say things once in a while.
I do too. I see beautiful little kids.
I know, I love them. I know.
I know, and then people think you're fucking
But I don't
weird.
think, I don't, it depends on where it is in the context, like, and if I'm with Stephanie and we comment on the real TV.
Yeah, that's different though, because you're with your spouse.
I also I got 16 grandkids. I love
You
children.
have 16 of them? I
13 grandkids.
I absolutely love kids. Stephanie and I love seeing cute kids at the park. We love talking to them. And, yeah, but you gotta be careful. And we love looking at little dogs and animals.
Yeah, me too.
I swear, we always stop people.
So seriously, I've seen them $500,000 down to half that.
I'm telling you, some of these deals are really good.
Yeah,
To get a claim.
Oh man, she suffers from mental illness.
Now this
And is
not-
currently in a
that's
manic
not-
phase.
That, it depends on how they took care of it. This
Yeah.
is not, mine is perfect.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
This is,
It's sad. It's really.
this,
Looks pretty
Oh,
nice.
there's another
Yeah,
one
but,
very good looking girl
you know,
from
when you really
Pennsylvania
get inside.
Now, you left that 50s motif on the inside of yours?
No, I
Oh,
upgraded to the A-line. Mine is, here, I actually have.
Yeah, but yours
Oh,
looks like a 1950s.
They're all grown up.
You know,
They
the movie stuff.
grow up in suburbia or wherever, they just have no idea what the real world's like.
I think they're mistreated at home because they got drowned or something.
Yeah, I mean, but they have no idea there's people out there what they will do.
Yeah, it looks really good on that.
I can't believe what's his face went down to,
So, it's such a kick in the face.
I don't want to say it.
You have the rotors?
No, I don't. I have not. You mean no rotor pedals, right? Yeah, and you know what?
Well, yeah.
You don't need them. If you honest to God don't need them. You don't need them.
Like was balanced or well enough?
Oh, there's.
Oh,
I've never found a
Pelosi.
condition.
Just called on John Donvan to resign.
Oh,
So you don't
he
have to
said he was the icon.
Yeah, that was 2 days
Yeah.
ago though.
I can't stand her. She's,
I
how many times
this
she called
is
Trump
probably
Bush
a little
now?
high
Yeah.
priced if it wasn't
She
hours. Because this is going to be.
She called on
It doesn't say how many
Trump.
on
I tell you.
Hey, but ultimately here, she's doing the right thing.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, 'cause she's got pressure.
You gotta do an overall. That's really expensive, because you gotta do an
She wouldn't have
overall,
done it
right?
otherwise.
Does it say, oh no, engine, yeah.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. You know, we have all this talk about sexual harassment, possibly even assault. And I thought, let's get the horse's mouth on. EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunities Commission. They're the ones that make a determination, ultimately, for civil filings. Now, that doesn't mean employers have to listen to them, but employers can be fined if they find a case and don't do anything. They can even be fined for having for punitive damages. But let's get on to the more of the definition. Mary, what would you say are the hardest cases when someone says, I've been harassed, where it could or could not be harassment? This is Mary O'Neill, regional attorney for the EEOC. So what would be the hardest cases? Which ones are they? I would think the grabbing and touching would be more the easier ones. What would be the tougher ones?
Maybe some of the verbal cases where there's verbal harassment that goes on, and maybe there's not any witnesses, or maybe the woman is the only woman in the workplace, so there hasn't been, a prior misbehavior. I guess those are the harder ones. What I would say is this continues to just really be an epidemic in most workplaces, and it's hugely unreported. 85% of women and men who have been sexually harassed don't report it either to their company or to the EEOC. Most of them try to sort of live with it. It causes all sorts of physical and mental harm. And most of the time, employees who are being harassed just leave, which is a real problem for employers. They lose talent, and then they have all the costs of turnover, and sometimes turnover and turnover and turnover, frankly.
So what about statute of limitations?
Great question. So they have to, anybody who thinks they've been sexually harassed, as you mentioned earlier, should try to deal with their employer if they can and keep a record of that. And then they should file a charge with the EEOC Normally it's 300 days. Like you're in Colorado, it's 300 days. They have to come to the EEOC. They often, if they're in other places where
but if a woman now, because of all of this, decides it happened 10 years ago, can anything be done?
Really not under federal statutes.
Okay.
There might be some state statutes, maybe, and there might be some legal arguments, like if she was a minor, for example, or if the company misled her about her rights. But in general, you have to file a charge within 300 days, sometimes within 180 days, in order to have your rights preserved.
Okay. Mark?
You know, I've got a question, Mary, that it kind of drives me crazy. My understanding is the EEOC was created because of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 by Congress. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
So why do these bums in Congress exempt themselves from this kind of behavior?
Are they exempted?
Well, that's a complicated question, but yes, they exempted themselves from the Title VII of the 1960s.
Why? Well, now, why is that? That is a good question.
I mean, that's a political question that's
right.
way beyond my expertise.
Okay.
But you know, it's very problematic.
But as a woman,
does that mean that as you cannot bring a case against them?
Yeah, and here's a woman that works for these people, and you know, take John Conyers. He paid off a woman with some kind of secret slush fund, apparently. I mean, on a personal level, that's got to drive you a little crazy, right, Mary?
Yeah, I mean, there should be some accountability for anybody who's engaging in this kind of conduct. Now, the statute only covers employers that have 15 or more employees. That bugs me too, because
really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you've got dentist offices, you've got doctor's offices, you've got, which, you know, those are places where I've seen problems. You've got, you know, if you said something very smart early on. You said it's about power, and that is absolutely correct. This is about power and the misuse of power. So often the worst cases are where there's an owner and there's no recourse, right? It's the head doctor, it's the head dentist, it's the head of the construction company. It is either they're the formal boss or they have a lot of power because they're the rainmaker, they're the superstar, right? They're the best salesperson.
Now listen to this one. Chip is calling in, and this is a very interesting case. Chip, you were sent to a CPR class as part of your employment, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
So are you an EMT or something?
No, I was a manager and just part of our training.
Okay, so Mary, get this. Part of his training is going to a CPR class. He got fired as a result of going to that class for something he said. Chip, can you explain it?
Yes, there was a female EMT in the class, and I made the remark. The one and only remark I made to her was, when we get to the mouth-to-mouth portion, I would like for you to be on our team. That was it. Right.
Now, obviously, that is inappropriate, but Mary, could that be construed as harassment?
It probably wouldn't rise to the level of having a case, but an employer can decide, like I said, that they're going to set the bar lower for code of conduct in a workplace. So she wouldn't necessarily, if that's all that happened, have a case that she could go for in court, but an employer can make a decision that they're going to have a higher standard in their workplace.
Okay, we have to take a quick break. Now, I want to tell you our show and our main emphasis today will be on addiction treatment. Now, as you know, we never have a single topic show. We take all of your questions, problems, and complaints. But we do have someone here from the Raleigh House, and it is very important that we talk about this, especially coming up on the holidays. But here's another important note. We are in open enrollment right now. Do you know what that means? That means that we have to buy health insurance. It's still the law. You have to buy health insurance. If you try to go on to exchange your own, it's crazy. I recommend highly that you use an insurance broker. You pay no extra. I recommend Integra Insurance, our experts. They literally go through dozens and dozens of plans and come up with the pros and cons for your specific situation and will make recommendations. I use them. Mark uses them. We all use them to buy our own plans. You should never try to navigate it alone. It doesn't cost you anything, and you don't save going direct. why not call Integra Insurance and get their expertise? 303-466-5500, 303-466-5500.
She wants to
You've probably seen those crazy...
Chip, you can keep on too if you want. I'm going to start going to calls, and then we're
I
going to
never
talk
realized Congress exempted themselves. That's absolutely crazy.
Dan does
Let me see what you
compliment me
got
on my
there.
hair all the time.
Mark,
I don't know if these are
I'm wasting
I
frickin'
see good hair day.
You made me spend what?
How much were these?
$6.99.
Told up that granite at all.
He said you the cheapest ones. I got cheap ones.
No, that's good to have.
No, we have to have them. They'll last a year, then we buy new ones. It's better than buying a $100 pair.
And then
I
losing
wasn't
them.
sure.
You got some, what, I thought you were getting gold
You
ones.
did good,
They
Dad.
didn't have any gold ones. They have some really hot lime ones.
Yeah, how come they're not...
Those were $5 more.
These are awesome, man. This is $6.99.
$6.99.
You need to keep it, Suzanne needs to keep them in her box.
Amazon, or did you buy them in town?
I went up to
Microsoft.
Microsoft. I was the first one in line.
And a splitter?
Did they exchange it, no problem?
Did you say?
I told Mark.
Did they exchange it, no problem?
That's okay, that's okay.
No, didn't hear about the splitter.
Mark, didn't they exempt himself from Obamacare
I don't
too?
know.
Yeah, of course.
Only if we get.
And the ones that really kills me with them, really kills me. I understand the logic, but it drives me nuts.
Those are nice.
They can do insider trading and no one else can.
I remember that.
They're allowed to as well?
Yes.
So here's the worst part. They know when they're voting on a regulation or something, and they know what they can change.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, when more things to
They
it.
exempt themselves from everything, huh? Social Security.
Yeah. They have their own
Got
little
it.
fund.
Ta-da!
They're a bunch of bums. I know that, man. This McCain, him getting caught over there during the war has got me so pissed.
What kind of?
You know, it's becoming a ruling class deal where they just...
Oh, they are. They literally are. They sit above the rest of us.
Daphne,
Us
they
peasants.
look cute, Red.
The other ones are white. They only had two.
$6.99.
They're going to be.
See, we spare no expense.
And they work.
Here at TSN.
Thank God.
Now, one ear works occasionally.
No, those are the gold ones, my pimp daddy ones.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just making sure. I think those are all.
Here's the other one.
And we'll keep the boxes.
Nothing really, there's not really any hot topics.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'd be willing to share a little bit of mine if that's something.
There's a Kroger we really.
Okay.
You know who showed up at their place? Corey,
Tom,
the guy that showed up here.
she asked that you could give out the website. People can go there to find their local office. They can fill out an intake form and if they have a complaint. So can you mention that? And she's
Just let you know, this is what your banner looks like.
She stuttered a little when I asked her the question about her boss, didn't she?
What did you say? You did ask her?
Well, yeah.
What'd you say? I missed it.
I said, how come the people that employ you exempt themselves from all
And what'd
this
she say?
illicit behavior?
Yeah.
She went, good quick. It took her a minute. She was stunned that I asked her.
No, that's not a bad
They had
idea.
them.
What do you think of her reaction to my question? You think she stuttered?
Well, I think that she's pissed. I think they are all pissed at it. She said, of course there should be accountability. She doesn't like it. She doesn't like the
But
fact
yet
that-
she works for him.
Well, what is she going to do, quit? She doesn't like Mark.
It's what it takes, one
Mark,
person.
listen, also she said 15 or under, 15 or over employees, 15 and
Yeah, which is
That's
weird.
not fair.
Well, they got a lot of
So I can harass the hell out of them.
Dan?
But it's still civil. You can still. Oh no, you can't.
No, you.
Well, yeah, you can. No, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, they just won't go after him.
My wife gave me permission last night to sexually harass her all I want.
Oh, I don't. That was way too much information. You're harassing us.
You know what'd be good is to find out who wrote that into the bill way back then.
McCain.
Wrote what in?
That they were exempt. When
They all did. They all agreed on it. They all
They
voted on
approved
it.
it, but somebody had to. put
Yeah,
that
who
in
brought,
the
who
bill.
brought it in?
Yeah.
They're exempted from postage. You know that, right?
Yep.
I don't care about that.
Obamacare.
So
Of all the things they're exempted from, I'll give them a pass on postage because it's their own thing.
No, that,
In other words, they pay.
Prisoners are too, aren't they?
Why would they pay for postage if you really think about it? Because it's the U.S. Post Office.
There's election
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's millions of dollars.
I know.
During
Yep.
election.
It's like,
Oh, wait a minute. You're saying like their campaigns?
Lawyer and stuff.
Well, I definitely would have a problem
with
with
the lawyer,
that.
that's something different, but any other letters
They're
that have
bums,
to buy envelopes.
The exemption from,
I mean, you can-
that's why they start making money.
calls
Imagine that.
and
You've got a
business
bill
there.
coming up that'll roll back Dodd-Frank regulations. You know about it before anybody else. You know they're going to vote on it. You buy all the banking stocks. If I had that ability, I'd be in the federal pit.
Get mail in, they tear the stamp off.
See, but
So you-
Martha Stewart,
Also, so they can't
They
redo
can't. They can do what Martha Stewart did. They can get.
Talking like we used to do. It was always
I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Simply Floors is the place to go if you want to save a ton of money. Simply Floors, Buddy Mitchell. Simply Floors, Inc., INC, like Incorporated. SimplyFloorsInc.com. You book your own appointment online. Evening appointments open. They have free designer services. When you get close, you can go to the showroom if you want. You don't have to. They have a showroom. You can drop in 52nd and Ward, a beautiful showroom. Buddy Mitchell truly has decided to make less on each transaction to give you more. It's that simple. He gives you better value and the same products as all the big boxes, but you save up to 40%. Everything. Hardwood, laminates, luxury vinyl tile, simplyfloorsinc.com, including that new waterproof carpeting called Action Traction. Oh, no, that's waterproof luxury vinyl tile. The other one...
Life-proof, baby. I got it. It's the best carpet out there.
I'm sorry, Mark, you're right. It's life-proof. Anyway, simplyfloorsinc.com. The Raleigh House is in the house with us, and we'll talk to them. The regional attorney for the EEOC had to leave, and she left this website. She said you can really go on there and find your local office. They do take these complaints seriously. They can either take the case on themselves, they can determine you have a good case, and then you can take it on privately, or they can determine you don't have a case. But here's the point. You must go through them first before filing a lawsuit with your employer. Now, you can complain to your employer, but before you file a lawsuit, you must go through the EEOC. The website is eeoc.gov. So, Chip, you were fired from a CPR class because you said when it comes time or when we get to the mouth-to-mouth part, I want to be on your team. Chip, did you know when you said it at the time what you meant? Did you truly, she was a good-looking lady and you thought, hey, I want to smack lips with her? I mean, is that what you were thinking, or were you thinking something truly innocent, like she's really smart and I want her on my team?
Or was he trying to be the class clown?
Yeah, I'm trying to really get inside your head. What were you thinking?
Well, Tom, I'm an old school guy. I'm 50 years old, and I took CPR about 30 years ago, thrown into the military. And back then, it was actually hands-on. It would actually,
yeah,
it would actually, show you how to do chest compression.
Sure.
It would actually touch you, etc.
Yeah.
So my mindset when I said that was, I was using the words mouth-to-mouth as a synonym for CPR, and I was referring to I do not like to be touched by men in any way, shape, or form. So I was referring that I would prefer, when we do the hands-on portion, I would prefer to be on the team of a lady versus on
you know
the
what?
team of a man.
Hold on now. Hold on. I don't know. Fine. You weren't trying to be funny at all?
No. I meant it as, I thought our class was going to divide up.
I know what you're saying, but you said it had nothing to do with her lips or mouth or sex or attraction.
None whatsoever. I'm a married man, and I.
Well, why didn't you say? Why didn't you say when it comes time for the demonstrations, I want to be on your team?
I just, sometimes you say things and you just say it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
well, whether I believe it or not, it does. She said it probably doesn't rise to the level of harassment, but it certainly can be something your employer takes action with. How long were you with this employer?
2.5 years.
And yeah.
With zero prior disciplinary action.
What did they say to you when they fired? What did they say when they fired you? Mark, you wanted to say something too, but what did they say when they fired you?
They knew they didn't have a sexual harassment case. First, they were heading down the sexual harassment.
So what did they say?
They said they were letting me go for terminating me for gross misconduct.
Okay. Okay, Mark, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm a little skeptical of that story, but regardless, the answer would have been, you know, if there was a large Marge there, would he have said the same thing? We'll never know the answer.
Well, that's true, too.
That's good point. Good point. Now, I don't know. I mean, you know,
my
I'd like to know what
contention, though,
people think. You know, you can see an employment attorney, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
It won't go. They can fire him for any reason.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and we said it yesterday. It comes down to this: if I'm that employer, do I want any possibility in the future of getting sued because of past behavior from this guy?
Right. So that they're erring on the side of caution. Lacey, you are next because, hold on, you called yesterday with the car hop, and we had a very hard time hearing you. Hold on. So, Suzanne, what
I had a question for Chip.
Yes.
Would he have said that in front of his wife?
Would you have said that if your wife was next to you?
I've said things in front of her, and sometimes I get the elbow in the side, and, hey, you're cool down or chill out or something like that.
He's making his own story.
Well, Lacey, what is the problem, Lacey? What's going on? Lacey.
Oh, you go see Mom. She wants you.
Lacey.
Over there.
Okay. Listen, Suzanne, yesterday I couldn't talk to her because of the phone. I need one person on the phone. I need them off Bluetooth and off the speaker. I need them on a handset. And she needs to be able to talk to me, and we'll do it when we take a quick break, okay? That's the only thing I can do. Richard, what's your problem with a pawn shop?
Yeah, I had purchased on a layaway plan small refrigerator from a pawn shop.
Yes.
When I paid it off,
how much was this refrigerator?
It was like 34 or something.
Oh, okay.
I had to get the receipt. It wasn't a whole lot of money, but I've done business with this particular manager of this Easy Pawn for many years.
What's the problem?
Well, the refrigerator doesn't work at all. I took it home. It was late in the day, and I set it down. I didn't plug it in till the following morning. When I did, it did not work at all, and I took it directly back up there. And I'll get straight to the point. And they said, well, it's been more than 24 hours. We cannot accept any return.
Can't even cool in that amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. I hadn't even plugged it in 24 hours.
I think we just ask our listeners if someone's got one of these old college fridge laying around, let's get them one.
Hold on. So you have an old one that doesn't work. You don't know what's wrong with it. They truly would not give a lousy $30 back.
Right, and I've known the guy for many years. Greg, the manager.
I can't believe, though, that they are so nitpicking. Because it's more than 24 hours, come on.
Well, let's let everybody know the pawn shops are a bunch of bums, and let's get this guy. I mean, we're going to have a listener that has one sitting around
How big do you need? How big of a refrigerator do you need?
It's about 3 feet by 2 feet, just a small mini fridge that you would put like in an office or a room, for waters or whatnot.
You hold on, all right? Just hold on, and what is your situation financially?
Oh, it's not good. I'm on disability.
My God, he put a $30 refrigerator on layaway.
You're on disability?
Yes.
So what kind of disability?
Just physical. I'm not able to work due to physical injuries I've had.
How old are you?
51.
Okay. And what's the refrigerator for? Is it the only refrigerator you'll have?
It's just that my wife has a lot of things because she has diabetes and she's on a special diet, and I like to keep my drinks cold, and it's just our regular fridge. It was just kind of a convenience thing.
Okay.
We're going to get you one. Right, period, end of story.
We'll find one. But we should call this pawn shop, and I'm going to nominate Deputy
What's the name of it?
Easy Pawn, he said.
Easy. Isn't that a...
Did you say
Manager's
Easy?
Greg.
Isn't that a chain?
Just hold on. We got to take a break. Just hold on. We'll call him. It might be. We'll call on that, and then we'll go back to Lacey, and then we have, of course, the Raleigh house in the house, and this is a really important topic. Anyone listening right now, any questions about addiction at all, any questions about addiction, or if you're an addict yourself, if you truly want to call us totally confidential, whatever you want, please call us, and we will try to accommodate and answer you. This is an important show, and we've helped a lot of people in the past you can call 303-713-TALK or call our other line, which is 303-MARTINO, 303-627-8466.
This report is brought to you by Cole. It's a tough drive.
Drew's room, right, didn't work, but I think it's fine.
Sometimes
it's split, yeah.
Yeah, they
I
don't
flipped
always.
the end, and it's, yeah. Okay, so it must be Drew's, because Drew couldn't get it.
Could be Drew.
Drew's
Not
like it.
Drew's.
Drew doesn't have.
Drew might not have one either.
You have a scooter right here, you're not using the other.
No.
You know what he's doing. He's messing with you.
No, I listened. In there, I couldn't get it flipped in here. I flipped it around and it was fine.
I'm brought to you by.
That's when we get super full. And
Yeah, you didn't tell me about a splitter.
No, Mark, I told Mark.
No. I order those on Amazon. They're dirt cheap. You buy them at Micro
I
Center,
bet
they're
you if
$10.
you look up
Are
here,
they
they're
really
like
$10?
all over the place.
Well, they're $4.99, $5.99.
Look in drawers.
What do we need though? What
No. When we get totally full, and she's
what kind of? I'm going to order a splitter. What kind?
The just like this here.
No.
Big to too little.
Okay.
Big to little. Big to little. Is that what you just said? Big to little?
No.
Too little.
I want to know 3.5 or.
Well, there's really different sizes. So
No, there's not.
That's why I just ignored it.
there are.
Is
But
there? Okay.
lately there have been
Just big to
less.
little.
But
Let
I
me
would
search. Big to little.
These are called quarter-inch phono clips. Now listen, here's the problem though. They're not phonos, they're quarter-inch. But you have quarter-inch stereo, which is the 3 sections. Then you have stereo mono, which is 2 sections. Mono is 2.
You want? You know what? I'm gonna use language.
And then this one.
Do you want little ones or big ones?
This one is either 3.5. Is this what you're of 3.5 mil?
That's what I want to know. You want 3.5?
But there's one mini.
Or do you want the big one?
There's one minier than this, right, Mark?
There's 3. There's a micro.
But then there's this one and another one.
Yeah. Here's what I want to know. Do you want
This?
or this?
For a highly trained, commission-driven salesperson to
I
You
guess
want
that.
this size?
No, because I do got this one.
So you want the
after.
little.
I want the little. You're right.
Okay.
Because of that.
So you got to use words you
I
understand.
got
The
the
little
mattress.
ones.
Quit it.
incredible value. We sell the Casper mattress online.
How many do you want?
We let you try
Or do we just need one? We got enough. It's just when everybody's full and Suzanne's doing a double in there.
Wouldn't the other ones break?
In fact, it now
No, we have.
just never had it.
No,
with an average of
it's just when we have a ton.
I think if you let somebody use a mattress for a year,
You what?
I'm just wondering the market.
Didn't you say you ordered Casper?
The one in the mail?
Yeah. And you said it came in a weird little box.
It was flat and it was small and it opened up and it turned into a big mattress.
That's incredible. Were you amazed by the size of the box?
80% of Fortune 500 companies.
If you had to ship it back, could you get it back in the box? Holy shit. What does it do? Do you like add water to it?
It just breathes and gets air in the cells.
God, I wonder how they compress it so much.
The full mattress?
His mattress came in like a box.
Right, no, they all do.
And then you open it up and it goes.
But it takes like a day, 24 hours, right?
That's right. Just type
And it's firm and it's not flimsy. It's not like
What is the actual material?
Foam?
it's memory foam.
No, they're all like that. I'm sure they just.
I don't think any mattress in the future will have any internal springs at all, ever. It's all
Yeah, you don't have to do a box spring. I never understood the whole box spring thing. What are they?
Well, and mattresses themselves had springs in it.
Yeah.
So it was all, I mean, you know, water beds are truly the best. I mean,
Oh, well, the future, the newer ones.
yeah, they really,
I have
not those old
sand.
big giant water bags,
We
but
always have them.
Do you remember Kramer had sand?
and gel beds are wonderful.
I don't remember Kramer at Sam.
He-
Gel? Oh,
He
yeah.
had a
Wait,
sand.
didn't Kramer also have a mini motel or something? No, was that him? He would rent out to Asians or his drawers.
That's because he spent all their money.
No way. Didn't he give them a hotel or something?
It
No,
was. They
yeah.
lived in the
It was
drawers.
like, who built the drawers? Was it like
Fartman.
Or Fartman? It was a Fartman.
It was a apartment.
You build a room in which you would shine a light.
And Jerry had what? Why did Jerry
See the light? That and
use an axe to get into it?
Oh, because Kramer had the hot tub.
No, but why couldn't he just open it up
because it worked. The Carl Fartman.
But he had carpal tunnel and stuff from signing those checks.
We digress.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center has a special Christmas deal. This is wonderful. But it's only for those who listen to this ad and call immediately thereafter. If you've missed it on prior days, listen carefully. First of all, Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center are the pioneers in research for tinnitus treatment. They have a permanent treatment, permanent solution for tinnitus. It goes away. It hasn't come back in clinical trials, but you get to keep it anyway. So if it does come back, you get to use the therapy later on. But in addition to that therapy, which is called the Syncra, they're doing smartphone-compatible hearing aids at $1,000 off. Here's what you have to do to qualify. You do not have to obligate yourself to buy it or anything. You just call now and be one of the first 10 callers to get an evaluation. And if you're one of those, you can decide to buy it. You get the $1,000 off. Okay? So to get the $1,000, you simply have to call for an evaluation. Plus no interest financing. And the hearing aids are smartphone compatible. It's all controlled through your smartphone. It's wonderful. Either a Droid or the iPhone. Call Rachel at Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center, okay? Here's the number, 303-534-0163, 303-534-0163. You have to be one of the first 10 callers, or not one, excuse me, all first 10 callers, I'm sorry, all first 10 callers. It's limited to 10 for this $1,000 off. And if you call and decide not to buy, you're not obligated, but if you call now, you will be in line for the $1,000 off. 303-534-0163. Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center. Okay, so we are going to try once again to talk to Lacey. Okay, because we've had trouble with her phone. Lacey, are you there? Hello, Lacey?
I told her she had one more chance.
It's
almost a joke.
Yeah.
I know. Lacey's had a problem with car hop. Are you there, Lacey? No. We're done. Don't even take a call again, okay? We've tried it 4 times now, and either we can't hear her. The phone was so bad it sounded like this. Okay, fine. Then Richard had a problem with the pawn shop. Did Deputy Clint call that pawn shop? And if so, we'll talk to him. Let's talk.
And if anybody's got a little college fridge, please contact us.
Yeah,
live at troubleshooter.com. Live at troubleshooter.com.
Pawn shop's going to give a refund.
Oh, wait. You got a refund, Clint? What did they say? Oh, that's so nice. What did they say?
Joe at the pawn shop said that, yes, they will give him a refund. There's a 10% restocking fee.
Oh, fine.
Let's still try to get the guy.
We'll get you one. Yeah,
but with the 10% restocking fee, the new one will have a 6-month warranty.
The new one will?
Yeah, if he finds a new one. So
okay, if you find a new one, Richard, it's going to have a 6-month warranty. But here's the deal. If they give you a refund minus the 10%, just accept it, okay?
Yes,
Yeah, take the money. We're going to find you.
We're going to find your refrigerator. That's our mission, okay?
I appreciate it.
We have taken on this mission to find you and your wife a refrigerator.
Where are you located?
What part of town?
Right by 6th in Urbana.
Perfect.
Okay, good. You hang on, leave your information with Suzanne. Let's talk to the Raleigh House. Julian is with us. Julian Duran with the Raleigh House. I've been bragging about this number for weeks and months, and well, actually for months now, where people can call and ask anything they want about addiction. It's because, you know why? You don't wake up one day and say, oh, I need treatment, or my brother is an addict. You may not even know. Have you had people call that just suspected addiction, Julian, and maybe asked, how do I know if they have a problem?
Absolutely. We often have family members, spouses, and any kind of type of loved one, or even calling for friends that have started to see some warning signs or some concerning behavior that they think might be the result of a serious addiction.
Can we talk about that first before we talk about treatment? Let's talk about traits, characteristics, maybe even telltale signs, because you may see this in your spouse. You may see this in your aunt or uncle, your wife, your kid. What are some of the telltale signs, let's call it, or red flags? Are there any that are pretty common among addicts? Now, we're not saying that if you have these, you are an addict, but what is it that you and I'm talking about any kind of addiction, alcohol or drugs, or if you want to break it up, go ahead.
Sure, I think that there are a variety of warning signs, and I think that they can vary. And like you said, they're not always a surefire sign, but they can definitely be some good clues towards
addiction.
Highs
and lows.
So I think one of the big ones I'd say, or especially when you start to see your loved ones becoming withdrawn or not following their normal patterns of behavior, often maybe some irregular spending or very secretive behavior. Maybe the lines of communication have been severed or aren't kind of the norm. Often some irregular sleep patterns, often
like
trips
staying
to the
up
doctor.
like to the middle of the night and stuff.
Staying up to the middle of the night, maybe falling asleep during a conversation, maybe falling asleep at the dinner table is a big one, things like that.
What about irritability, moodiness?
Absolutely. I think those can be some big ones, and along with the kind of communication lines, one of the big ones I've seen is when loved ones are asking the concerned family member about what's going on with them, they get very defensive or try to be dismissive about the questions.
Okay. Are many of the addicts we find being supported by doctors?
In terms of actual
pain management? Yeah.
We often see quite a few clients that are using or abusing prescription drugs. They're not always getting them through doctors, but doctor shopping is a very large problem that we've seen in this country. Yeah.
We're going to talk about this and more. If you have questions, give us a call.
I'm in pain management.
Yep.
I have pain in the cup every 3 months.
Yep.
They know whether I got anything else or if I'm not taking it. Or if you're taking too much. If you're taking too much, yeah, they can pretty well tell me if you're taking too much or if you're not taking enough.
We really got to get you some sense out there. That shit's good.
Oh God, I would love to.
You just can't. I mean, it's just,
and I was at my pain management doctor yesterday talking to him about that exact thing. Dr. Brown. He's the one going to this clinic on February 14th. He told me about it.
You get sick as hell, right? You try not to.
Well, I tried to get off of it twice. I have a physical dependency.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me really sick. I'm so sensitive.
But he's had how many surgeries?
6.
What, do you mind if I ask?
Oxycontin, 40 milligrams, 40
yeah.
Can you?
That's a pretty hefty dose. I mean, if I'm being completely candid with you, I was specifically a heroin addict, and I would inject those, and I mean it's the same response to heroin.
Except I've never felt before.
How do you inject?
You probably already had enough of a tolerance that they started you on like Vicodin or something like that to where you weren't getting that.
Oh yeah, I started out real.
So that's probably why you weren't kind of feeling it that same way.
But I have been on the same level.
How do you inject the pill?
You break it down in water and draw it up through coffee. There's definitely some inherent risks with the binders in the pills, and
chewing up the Oxycontins will kill you. Because they're time release, they're 12-year time release, 12-hour time release.
So, but that's one of the biggest ones, Dilaudid, Oxycontin, another like morphine sulfates are some of the worst ones.
I can't even get it. It's at Walgreens now. Walgreens is the only one that will even sell it to me.
Yeah.
Boy, look, I get it. What do you mean? Keep some of your ass having tolerance for pharmacies, they will not sell they put Oxycontin.
Specifically because of the high abuse levels and also pharmacies getting held up and it's one of the most controlled substances.
Yeah, I understand it, but for those of us who truly need it, it's I couldn't survive without it.
Sir. Yeah, I knew that. We talked a little bit, Dave, you and I went down there, I talked to him.
Yeah, I know the owner, I know.
He had issues.
I've known him for years.
People that can no longer afford the Oxycontin.
He grew up with a lot of dough, right?
Yeah, his dad ran a restaurant.
That's right. Oh, in fact, the Aurora Summit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Do they still own that or not?
Killers.
No.
You asked a question that rang a bell.
People that can no longer afford
Oh, heroin's cheaper. Heroin's cheaper on pain pills now.
Pretty much everyone I know started.
But you never know what's in that.
Myself included, from an crack, and then the addiction for whatever reason progressed, and then you end up going there.
I have a spinal. What they say, Andy Griffith's show won't heal.
Yeah.
And it sends shocks and burning down my foot. There's tears coming down my cheek. I'm screaming out loud. Most likely plan is that level of pain, and it shuts off 100%. I'm so blessed that there's something out there that works. I don't know. I don't have that side effects. I don't have trouble.
Tell me you got cans.
I've never, ever in 20 years taken.
I didn't have any issue with that.
That was one of the few. You're real tempted when you start hurting a little bit
to take a little extra.
Well, take an hour ahead. Then the next one you're taking 2 hours ahead. You have to be really structured, you have to be really disciplined to be on that. And you have to have a non-addictive personality.
Yep.
I think there's such a thing as addictive personality.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's also physiological traits that can give people propensity for addiction, just with how their neurotransmitters work. So I think there's going to be people that are just more inherently susceptible to it. But I also think, like myself, I mean, I had I smoked pot and did cocaine and drank through all my kind of high school years, and I had a great job. But once I broke my back and my hip, my purpose in life was gone, and that's when I was laid up in a wheelchair for several months, and you give me a big bottle of Dilaudid. When am I going to take care of myself?
I broke my back and neck and was in a wheelchair for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I'm out of the wheelchair. Most people don't know there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
I mean, other than I have a zipper on my back.
You're taking a really big step there, saying that.
Oh, wow.
Now, you've heard me talk a lot about stem cells.
Let's not embellish.
It drives it. Credibility goes right down.
Yeah. For their work with stem cells. They're all
He's killing it for us. This guy's solving shit left. He did, what, $8 grand overnight?
Yeah.
What? So PayPal give that back, or?
I talked to PayPal, and they had this long waiting period. But I talked to the girl. I said, "What is going to help waiting 11 days?" Because they do it on 11 days. How is the guy ever going to prove it's not stolen? The guy who sold it. And she couldn't come up with anything. Talk to the manager. So I said, "So can we up that thing?" And she said, "I'll talk to the manager." And I got a text that.
Why, the guy that sold it said it was not stolen?
I don't know what. No,
it's not a stolen.
It's just a PayPal thing. The PayPal gives 20 days before they do anything, because most of the time things are lost in mail. And then if it's a stolen item, they give the person who sold it 10 days to prove it wasn't stolen. I said, "How's that going to happen?" So I'll see a manager. 6 o'clock this morning, my phone dings, and the guy sends me a thing that said, "I got the email, they're paying me now." So we upped his date.
Someone gives something that was actually stolen?
$6,300 agricultural GPS he bought was stolen. And then trying to deal. Luckily, he used PayPal, and they were good for it.
Did he get arrested with it?
No, he hadn't been arrested.
Oh.
When he tried to activate it, they discovered he had it.
Gotcha.
And he could prove
How can this president say he had a tremendously successful first year? How that helps?
Gee, I don't know, because he added a shitload to most people's retirement. Shitload.
He didn't do that.
Oh, here we go. I can't even argue with Tom on that.
What did he have to do?
If Hillary got in there, the stock market would not be where it is. Done. He rolled back regulation. As soon as he rolls back Dodd-Frank, the banking stocks are going to go through the roof.
So the stock market was a result of him rolling back regulation?
100%.
And consumer confidence.
And consumer confidence has not been higher in 12 years. 12 years.
I think since
why does he have
started.
such low approval ratings?
Why?
Because he's a big man. Because he's an idiot.
And why?
I'll give you that too. But
why can't he get anything passed? Seriously.
Tax reform will be through in the next day or two.
You know, that these congressmen have been in office for years and years and years. They're very entrenched in how they get reelected.
Look, I would love nothing more than for him to be successful, but it seems like he can't. Like, the thing that really pisses me off, they couldn't get health care reform.
GDP up 3.2%.
They're killing. He's up against a steep wall, but I think he will be successful.
He's Troubleshooter.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Welcome to the show, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. This hour brought to you by Ideal Home Loans for your next ideal home loan. And I mean that. If you need a home loan, you will not do better than Ideal. Ideal has their credit optimization where they tweak your credit legally, quickly, and ethically to get you the best pricing on the market. They're also direct lenders, which eliminates all middleman fees. And they have, of course, the pre-approval, which means you can close within days once you're pre-approved. That's a wonderful thing. And then they have the custom term loan. You don't have to go to 30 years. You can pick whatever term you want, but you still get the lower rate. And they have, of course, the rate guarantee. If rates go down over the next 2 years, they refinance you free of charge. Ideal Home Loans. They pick loans best for you. 303-867-7000, 867-7000, idealhomeloans.com. Okay, let's talk. We got a lot going on. We have the Raleigh House here. They're talking about addiction. I even have some email questions for them. But right now, Darren has been waiting for so long. Darren, what's going on in your life?
Hey, how are you doing today, Tom?
Good, Darren. What's happening?
Oh, not too much. So we had an incident over Labor Day weekend over at my house where there was a short in our meter housing on the side of the home.
Yes.
And it was throwing.
Who's your power company?
Excel.
Okay.
And some pretty large sparks coming out of it. So we called the fire department. Fire department responded. They cleared the scene. Everything was good. And then they contacted Excel to come out and fix the issue. They basically spliced the power from the ground back into the meter housing and left the meter on top of the housing and just said a technician would come out in the next few days.
When they left the meter on top of the housing, there are no exposed wires, right?
No.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah,
and so then they said they were going to replace the meter, and they haven't done it yet?
Yeah, it's been 90
We have an angel at Excel Energy that we can call directly.
Okay, wonderful.
Now, Suzanne, is she on the line? Let's call our angel at Excel Energy. They usually respond right away. Listen, things fall through the cracks, but I want to say something in general. They respond to consumer concerns and complaints when it comes to unburied cables and other things. The one problem I do have with them is their Home Smart program. It's the Home Stupid program. I do not recommend it at all. That's the only problem I have with Excel. And I could get into it, but I'm not going to right now in the interest of time. But they have made, in my opinion, several wrong choices and misdiagnoses over the years. Now, we have a lot of follow-ups coming up, too. You know, I thought Deputy Dan was good. Deputy Dan was the most effective deputy. Deputy Dan was the most effective deputy I've ever had.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
No, he was. Clint is coming up on him now. Clint and Deputy Dan are so good at what they do.
Neck and neck, Tom.
They're good at what they do.
Yeah.
Dan is more of the guy we send to the, you know those, I call them sorry-ass cases.
He's the show muscle.
He's got the ear. No, Dan, no.
To hear him on the phone in the office is, it's like a symphony.
No, because he really cares about people. Clint, for some reason, takes the most complicated, god-awful cases and solves them. And I just don't, that's because they have their different backgrounds.
Hey, hit that fridge again for that guy real quick.
We want to get a refrigerator for this guy. His wife's disabled, he's disabled. He needs a mini fridge. Please help him. You know, he went to a pawn shop and made payments on a $30 refrigerator. Turns out it doesn't work. They're going to give his money back, but keep 10%. And so he just wants, please help him out here. Okay, so Darren, we're going to help. He's been waiting a long time. And, email us live@troubleshooter.com about that refrigerator. Live@troubleshooter.com if you have one. Now, David, you've been waiting a long time, so I want to take you. And then, of course, the Raleigh house. Any addiction issues whatsoever. You know, I didn't realize this, but Julian, our guest here, he actually was a heroin addict years ago. God, he knows what he's talking about. He's come through that fire. David, what's going on?
Good morning, Tom.
Hey, what's happening?
Hi, I wanted to see if I could get you to help me out on something.
Okay, what's going on?
I bought a generator about 2 years ago from a company named Lake Electric and had fine experience with them. And in the course of the installation, I did an agreement with the owner that they would do 2 years of service, the routine service on it, in exchange for a snowblower that I had.
Do you have that in writing?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And last year, the light came on indicating it's time to have the service. So I called, unbeknownst to me, the gentleman that owned the company had passed away. His son called me back telling me that he was aware of the deal and that he'd come out and service it. And
was this a personal deal, or did he sign it on behalf of the company, or what? It sounds complicated because death ends all contracts.
Well, yes. But last year in September, when the light came on indicating it's time for service, his son came out and serviced it.
That's nice.
And everything was fine. So I called him in September. The light came on again for the 1 year update. And I called him and explained. He said, well, that's fine. I was expecting you to call about now. Let me order the kit. I'll be out.
Why did he expect you to call?
Well, it was just the same time a year later.
But why?
Well, because it happens every year.
But why? I mean, why did he expect it to happen? I don't understand it. That's
because he knew that he had two obligations. He fulfilled one.
I know, but why did he know it was going to screw up again?
Well, it's not a screw-up. It's just routine maintenance that has to be done.
Routine. You didn't say that part. The routine maintenance.
Right.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
The light comes on the generator.
All right, gotcha. Okay.
That it's time for...
I gotcha. Go ahead.
So anyway, I spoke to him. He said, yes, I'll order the kit. I'll be out in a week or two. And that was about the first week in September. I don't have the exact date, but it was approximately September 1st, or in that window.
When does your 2 years expire, David?
Well, it would have been about September the 1st.
And so the one thing you're missing is one routine maintenance. Is that right?
Exactly.
When it boils right down to it. What does that cost?
I probably it's approximately about $300.
Oh, so it's not that. Oh, so it's more than I thought. Okay.
It's maybe $275 to $300.
Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, David, I can try to help you. We can make a call to the guy, but he's not under any obligation to do it. I mean, even though he took on his father's obligation, he really isn't obligated. That's the bottom line between you and I. That's the bottom line. If the guy does it, it's out of a courtesy or honor, but he doesn't have to.
Let's see if Deputy Dan can handle this one.
No, but do you want us to like light a fire, call him, say, look, you're going to help this guy out? Because we can't use muscle. I mean, if the guy says, look, my dad made this agreement between him and this guy, my dad's dead. I mean, not much we can do. Really, there isn't. We can ask for the snowblower back, but you know, you got half the service, so it's complicated. It's not as if a company did you wrong.
Well, maybe we could at least get him to return a phone call.
Sure,
I've called him 8 to 10 times, and left emails.
I understand.
He just will not respond.
I understand. And you know what? You would think he'd want to keep it going for referrals and stuff. What's the name of the company?
Well, the present company is Bronco.
Oh, so it's even a different company?
Right. Well, this is his son. They had two different companies.
David, I don't even... This is weird. So...
Now, if he'd have told me
it's even a different company, man.
Well, I understand that, but if he'd have told me a year ago, hey, I'm sorry, but that was just you and your dad, my dad's dead.
Well, it is. I mean, that's what it is. So,
what was the value? I forget. How much?
$300. It's a lot, but the kid's not obligated.
I know that. I know.
I think David's more upset that he didn't get, the guy didn't even courtesy to call him and say,
maybe he'll do it in his dad's honor or something, though. He said
he did it the first time, okay? He's owed 2 services right now. He got the first one. Right. This is the last service, then the agreement expires.
Correct.
So, Dan, okay, Deputy Dan, let's give him a call. But remember, you know, he's not obligated.
And I'll personally elevate you.
Above Deputy Clint?
Yes.
Well, I didn't put him above Deputy. I didn't put Deputy Clint above. I said they're neck and neck right now. But and Deputy Greg's pretty good. He's way understated because he's very soft-spoken. And Richard, are you there? Doggone it. Where's Richard?
I'll try him again.
We'll take Richard. Okay. We have a question about the Raleigh house. First of all, this person wants to know, do they have to live there during treatment? And how long is it?
So we offer several different service lines. One is going to be a residential treatment program. We do also offer outpatient services, but all of those are going to be based on a person's clinical appropriateness for each service. We always want to be ethical in what service line we offer to a client. There are going to be some major differences, but it's all based on appropriateness.
So it could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Now, you got into addiction, and you say a lot of people get into it through an injury.
Absolutely.
They have an injury. And then what?
I think some of the biggest ones that I've seen are often even high school athletes playing sports.
And the painkillers make you feel so damn good.
Absolutely. Well, you think about the athletes or someone with a job, and then that purpose in their life gets taken away, and often some depression sets in, and without any prior experience of using or abusing any type of substance, they then are prescribed these, and it does often come along with some euphoria, and that helps to mitigate some of that depression, but it often becomes a problem after that.
But this is what I want to know. Why is it that some people can be prescribed painkillers, and they'll say, ooh, okay, I'll take them, but I hate that feeling, or I'll take them. They take them. Then they get off them. And others take them, they get off them and say, no, I like it too much. Why? Why is it that some people want to keep taking them? What is it? Are we predisposed?
I think there are a number of variables in that, and I think genetic predisposition is one of those, and with a lot of the new studies coming out, there's a lot more kind of data that goes along with that. But I think that there can be some external variables in terms of environment and self-care that's being done, or lack thereof, and there can also be the genetic kind of issues as well. So I think that there are a number of kind of factors that play into that.
That people different backgrounds, different individuals.
Absolutely.
And it's just, that's what always baffles me, the injury. But a lot of people have injuries and have pills and don't turn out to be addicts. And then others, the first time they take it, they know, wow, I can't, this is wonderful. This is what I've been missing all my life. So I wondered, are there people that their opiate receptors don't work well and they have to bombard them with the drugs? Are there people that have chemical imbalances where the opiates just help them feel normal? These are some of the things I wondered. And no matter what it is, have you found, though, that people can have a successful detox? Have you found people that are just so difficult? I mean, is it, in other words, are there people that it's easy and people that just struggle their whole lives?
I think that there's absolutely a spectrum of experiences when it comes to the detox itself, along with other kind of pieces. Do they have some other behavioral health components? Are there other health-related issues in there?
Do you guys address that?
Absolutely. We work from a variety of therapeutic modalities for different cognitive disorders. We work with different kind of mood disorders, thought disorders. We work with a wide range of services from depression, anxiety, and also clients that do have some other health issues.
So you work on all the triggers, so to speak.
Absolutely. We want to take a really an all-encompassing approach to working with the addiction. It's not just getting the person off the substance. How can we work with their underlying other kind of issues that they have as well?
Is there any one substance that you think is the hardest that people have struggled with over your years of experience?
I think that there are some that have more dangerous detoxes, like benzodiazepines and alcohol benzos being Valium, Xanax, Klonopin, all of those.
Which are some tranquilizers.
Which are some of the most heavily prescribed for anxiety and depression, and those are some of the most dangerous and can come along with seizures that could potentially be fatal, and also alcohol mimics those same symptoms when they're detoxing.
I heard meth was one of the hardest things to get off.
It is one that we see some of the highest recidivism with. Once the detox is done and they get kind of past that portion, it can be one of the most difficult to actually stay away from.
And is it true that the holidays have so many emotional triggers?
Absolutely.
Is this the toughest time of the year?
I think that's when a lot of those kind of external factors can kind of come up with some of the family dynamics, even personal dynamics, depression, other experiences that they may have had in the past that kind of come back up from those.
All right, we have a lot more to talk about on this. If you have any questions, give us a call at 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. And speaking of health, Centeno Schultz is someone that I also work with. And the reason I work with them is obvious. They're the real deal when it comes to stem cell therapy. I really vet the people that I work with. And, sometimes, I change direction. And in this case, I found this stem cell clinic because they use real stem cells, living stem cells that they harvest from you. So if you need stem cell therapy, they do the harvesting and they deliver it with guided injections. Dr. Chris Centeno was the first in the country to do stem cell therapy. They have 14,000 patients in their database that they've helped with backs and shoulders and hands and knees and also ACL tears. They are MDs. They work with living stem cells, and they do it right here in Broomfield. What's great about this is that the guys who pioneered this are right here. 303-963-9201. Call for an evaluation. 303-963-9201.
This looks 22 feet. I have chronic pain, and it seems like the opiates are used up in the I never feel euphoric, but if people feel when they're injured, can they get into the point where the opiates are no longer being used for the pain? That's why they feel euphoric?
But the opiates themselves cause more pain after a while.
Yes.
They become more sensitized.
Yeah, when I was trying to get off them, I couldn't even touch my skin.
Right, that's exactly
This Stencher guy says, just tell Tom, I just got out of the hospital, I'm feeling down, I don't really feel like talking to him. Just tell him thanks. Like, to me, what a jerk.
Yeah, he is a jerk.
How much money did we get him?
Which one?
The dentures guy. How much did we get him?
$2,590.
In 2 days, it was put in his account.
How much did we get him?
And he's a jerk.
$2,590. Yeah,
he's like, I'm just feeling down. I don't really feel like talking to him.
I was talking to him. He kept telling me he doesn't think he's going to live long enough to get other yeah. He was a jerk to me, Jeff.
Yeah.
How do we know the money went to dentures, guys?
Well, they refunded.
The dentures place put the money back in his account.
He couldn't wear the dentures.
I remember
because they were gagging him.
I totally remember.
But I also talked to two dentists about this when I was down in Mexico, and they said they just have to cut that palate thing on the back until it quits.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
What other updates do you have?
Jennifer, even we got that condo thing. We got USA's paying her claim. She's going to pay the claim on there.
Does she know this yet?
Yes.
Okay.
This Marie DeJager from
Marie?
South Africa. Yeah. The PayPal, after I called, sent his refund today.
Okay, I want to do Marie.
Okay, yeah, he's a good one. That's $6,300.
In general plant, we try to do, the people that are calling us for help, we try to give them their update on the air when possible. Say, we're
don't let, in other words, don't
here's
let
what happens.
Actually,
people don't want to come on the air when they know.
Yeah, once they know.
Once they have their problem solved.
He actually sent me the update from
Perfect.
From PayPal.
Okay, is this Maddie?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good phone number for him. He's a real nice guy. That's a guy from South Africa, and he's a good guy to get on.
He got his 6,300 for real.
Yep.
That's crazy.
They take out for his fees or something, so a little bit.
So Mark, you know the good news about that e-directory? It's all HTML.
It's not a WordPress.
No. It actually is. They took WordPress.
Yeah. Here's the thing he sent me.
You know how that one editor you bought works? They are doing it the right way. This editor couldn't get it right. These guys actually know. When you write in that thing, it converts it. But it is WordPress on the back end. The whole universe is. But they have opened up the HTML. And it is so wonderful because I went in not knowing anything and just copied the HTML code into an existing page, as you saw, and altered it. So Paul's going to be able to make our front page, since he's so good at it. He'll be able to make anything we want. It's going to be easy to work with, and Mark is so fast.
It was the guy that called for his mom.
Yeah, wait a minute. No, I got this place as part of the management.
It's so fast. And I love the pages. They just look so damn good.
Here,
that one, yeah.
Scott.
Yeah. And I also got into a $2,800 stem cell clinic for free. A learning thing.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'd love to learn about it. It's going to be a big...
It's this one, right?
Yes.
Scott 233.
Yeah.
Scott 233.
Yeah, I recommend that they talk
Do we want to do all the updates today, Tom, or you want me to spread them out?
Spread them out if you want. I don't know.
All right.
Whatever we can fit in.
Whatever we can.
Okay.
So keep this just in case I don't get them on.
Okay, no problem.
Trailer. I think we should talk about Richard.
Like, look at this one page. Just look how good looking it is.
Let's see.
Advertising, good accountability.
And garage
look,
lease.
and it's so easy.
That's good.
I know they're just.
My biggest thing is how fast it is.
I know it. They've done it right, man.
I talked to these people at that condo thing and got them to fire their HOA or fire their management company, and the tenants are all getting together to do their own HOA. Well, that's what they needed to take over. That guy was a dictator.
Despite the Supreme Court ruling they don't have to. Why do liberals hate nuns?
Why do liberals hate nuns? The shit you hear.
Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK. If you are 62 or older, reverse mortgages are an option. Now, the older, of course, the better. But with a reverse mortgage, it's a loan you take out on the equity in your home. You don't pay it back. The payments accrue against the equity. And then when you die or move or sell, you just
pay it off like any other loan, except the payments have been accrued. But the good news is they can never take your home ever, no matter how much you accrue. But here's the deal. It's absolutely not for everyone. It's a complicated, it can be complicated if you don't have someone like Joan Sullivan to walk you through it. She will tell you the truth if it's good or not for you. ApprovalReverse.com. 303-771-3528. 303-771-3528. Now, we got Deputy Clint, this denture thing. Suzanne, do you remember the original problem? What was it?
Well, I think he paid for dentures that a year later weren't going to fit his mouth anymore, and they said they would refund him, but he could not get that refund on his own, Tom.
Now, the reason they couldn't fit him, he had a gag response. And the guy had a gag response. He couldn't get him fit right. He didn't want him, and he had paid for them, and they wouldn't give a refund. Now, you might wonder, why should he get a refund? Well, they didn't do the extractions and all the other work. The implants and extractions were done by someone else. The actual dentures were done by this clinic, and they made temporary dentures, and he didn't like them. So he just said, let's just forget the whole thing. And I believe maybe they deserve something, but not the whole thing. Was that it in a nutshell?
Yes, and they said they would give him a refund.
Right. So Deputy Clint, what happened?
Well, I called them and let them know what the problem was, and that is there some way we can work it out, and they didn't call me back, but 2 days later he had his refund.
Wow. 2 days later. 2 days later.
How come we're not talking to him?
Because, like this happens a lot. When we help people, many times, I'm just going to say it like it is, they use us. They want help, and when we give them help, we never hear from them again, or they don't want to talk to us.
Yeah, he's unappreciated.
Mark, we had a guy we got a refund from tiny houses.
Actually, it was tumbleweed tiny houses.
Yeah, so we get a refund for this guy because we made noise, and he writes to us.
It was like $30,000 or something obscene.
We don't know what the final thing was, what they withheld, or if he got the whole thing, but he writes us a letter to cease and desist that he likes them and they're wonderful and they worked everything out. You know, here's the deal, folks. We love helping people, and of course you don't owe us anything. But for God's sakes, a simple thank you or come on the air and say, yeah, man, you know, it works, just pisses me off sometimes, because most of the people anyway who call us for help, and I don't mind this, they don't listen to the show. They found out about me by somebody. Somebody said, hey, you ought to call that Martino guy. Because the people that listen, they're smart. I swear, most of our people don't get ripped off because they've heard about the scams. So that is usually what happens.
Our first-time listeners are always ripped off by either Craigslist or Home Advisor or Angie's List, and no one will help them.
Now, Deputy Dan, did you call on this generator?
Yeah, but I was only able to call on one of the lines, and his mailbox was full, so I got to give the answering service.
David, we'll try one time or so, but really, you made an agreement with a different company and a man who's now dead, and you're going after his son.
Yeah, but the son did say, if I heard him right, that he'd take care of those two.
I know. But let's say he took care of one and he can't take care of the second one.
Maybe we put the other deputy on it at this point.
Yeah. Richie's got a comment on that generator service call. Go ahead. What is your comment, Richie?
Yeah. Basically, by for the son doing the work as per the contract with the father, technically the son may have legally assumed that contract.
I don't think he did. Well, how do you mean? Well, how did he legally assume it, Richie? How do you think?
Well, I had the same situation.
But how do you think he legally assumed it, is what I'm asking.
By doing it one time. Okay. Well, okay.
I mean, I don't know, Richie. I mean, I think it's a stretch, is what I'm saying.
Well, I had a very similar experience where a guy declared bankruptcy, and then he did the contract on his own, and the lawyer said, "Well, you assumed the contract, even though your company declared bankruptcy."
Well, that's a whole different situation. This guy is dead, and his son did the work. By helping someone out, I don't think you assume liability. That's just now. It depends. I mean, if you start a job and don't finish it, that's different. I would say if you started something and then it's in the middle, I don't think you can just say bye. I think, although I don't think there's any specific laws on it, but I appreciate the comment. Yes.
The Dow is up 340 today.
Oh, so what's the level, though?
What do you mean?
Well, what is it? Is it 2,000?
24,281.
Okay.
We should hit 25 here in a couple days. It looks like John McCain has decided to do the honorable thing and sign on to this tax deal.
What is with McCain? He's basically a Democrat.
He's very upset with Trump.
Yeah, they don't like each other. So, Richie, thanks for the call, although I don't agree. Rod, what's going on in your life, Rod? What's happening? Oh, I'm sorry. You're trying to get John Fuller to answer this?
He will be available soon.
Okay, hold on, Rod. We're going to try to get John Fuller on. Let's talk to the Raleigh House. And the Raleigh House is an addiction treatment center, and we urge you to call if you have any questions. And we've established this line for people to call. And I say to get information, because information is really difficult to get when it comes to addiction, about treatment, about options, about costs, about duration, about causes, about how to approach a loved one. What are some of the common questions you're getting on this line, 720-893-5559? We advertise this quite a bit. What are some of the common questions? What is the most, question that you hear a lot?
I'd say one of the main ones that we get is, how can I get my loved one to agree to go into treatment? I don't think many people come to us, jumping for joy to admit into a residential treatment program. And that's where we work with the individual themselves as well as the family in helping them come up with a strategic plan, and also to help their loved one to recognize the reality and potentially that need to get some help to really get their lives back.
How do I get them to come in?
Yeah.
First, get them to just talk to you guys, right?
Absolutely.
And just maybe visit, or can you do it by phone?
We can do it by phone. Oftentimes, though, if we can get the person to come into the office and chat, it has much more of a personal and profound effect to have that difficult conversation in person.
Okay, and what about, does your background help, and the background of some of the people there that have gone through addiction?
Absolutely.
Do they trust you more?
I think talking to someone that has shared a similar experience, they feel much more heard and understood and validated. I think talking to someone, potentially a lot of people have experiences with therapists or psychiatrists who don't share that experience, and they feel maybe like it's a punitive measure, or they're being told what to do. And if someone has shared that experience or walked in their shoes, so to speak, that they can relate to that much more.
So they're calling and asking, how do we do it? How do we, get them to come in? Have you gotten any calls from drug addicts themselves?
Absolutely. And I think when we get those, it's often the person trying to recognize, do I have an issue? Do I need treatment? Or kind of just trying to maybe inform themselves about what treatment consists of, because so many of us, whether it's loved ones or themselves, don't really know what that experience is going to look like.
So they just want to know basically what, if it's safe? If it's are they worried about their jobs, their career? What are they if they're an addict, what are they most worried about?
I think absolutely a job is a big one, and that's where we can help clients with FMLA, also helping them, if it's appropriate, to talk to their employer about their situation.
Can you be fired you can be fired for being an addict, can't you?
I think it depends on what's happening. I mean, obviously we're in at-will state.
Right, exactly.
I think it depends on how much it's affecting their
Do you find
position.
People being fired?
I'd say it's actually pretty rare.
If they seek treatment, I mean.
Yeah, employers are often very understanding and receptive to their staff members wanting to get themselves some help, because this is such a common issue, although it still has a large stigma around it, and it's often not talked about. It's still a very common theme.
Give us a call if you have any questions. We'll take your other consumer questions calls, of course, too. But give us a call, and you can use this number, 303-MARTINO, 303-627-8466.
Echo.
Oh, yeah, the echo.
He calls from over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the echo.
you can hear the echo through
Oh, you hear the echo. Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to leave any mics on when we're not talking.
Well, I'm so every mic I've ever had, you hold it down.
White House.
Yeah, this one, of course, you don't hold it.
Yeah, so
obviously I can do a show that.
Yeah, I got
Getting ousted by
exactly.
White
I got
House.
to get used to that.
I just looked it up.
Yeah, that's hard to adjust to, because on the airplanes, you might work.
Right.
Yeah.
You just talk is what you're talking
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So, well, thank you for reminding me.
It's just like that. I know it's
Throw something at me a few times.
Okay.
But you can hear the echo. I can't hear it myself.
Oh, really? You
It doesn't matter who sits in
No,
that chair.
it's because
Anytime that mic's on,
because
the echo
I'm
hits.
being picked up by that mic.
Oh, that's that echo. Okay.
So this mic, that mic is a microsecond after this one, because the sound, and it makes a little hollow sound.
Okay. I couldn't figure out how he knew over there is this.
Is that over there in the back?
He told me something profound yesterday.
What?
I don't know. I can't remember what it was. I get home and I say, God, I learned something cool every day from this. And I learned something from Tom today, and then I couldn't remember what it was.
Julian, what was your degree in?
I have a business background. I mean, I have a certification for, it's like a really low behavioral health certification, but my background is in business. Yeah.
I would say the certification was coming from being an addict. That seems really important.
That's, I mean, honestly, the certification is really just so you have something.
Yeah,
Most of the experience in the field is really where I found the most useful information and how to practice.
Yeah, that would be big, I would think.
Yeah.
I agree with you. People don't I can see why people would be hesitant. You don't get it. You don't understand. You know, you do understand.
I mean, I even shared that same experience when I went to see a therapist, and they were kind of talking to me about the steps that I needed to take, and it's like, you have no idea what I'm experiencing, so how can you tell me
I've
what to do?
never in my life drank or anything, so I apparently have a non-addicted person or something, but I don't drink. My whole family. So there has to be some genetic thing to that, like you're saying, genetic or predisposed.
I think that can be a huge part of it, and I also think that external kind of variables can play a big factor in it, because I've known people that didn't drink, didn't use, didn't do anything for almost their entire life, and then they had one major precipitating crisis that kind of made them to then spiral and then fall into
You don't understand the depression. All of a sudden you go from being really active to being in a wheelchair. You know, I was in a wheelchair not because I couldn't walk, but because my legs would come out from when you had a fall.
Yeah.
I fell down an escalator at Made downtown.
Mine had to jump too much either, man.
Yeah.
And that was it. I'm not going to hurt anybody. But, you know,
now, some of those, you know, they've been priced in.
Drop down, 1082.
Yeah, I think, you know, the opiates can also,
it is now.
It can be so challenging to actually manage how that will affect them, especially the longer that someone's been on.
Well, chronic pain depresses you too.
Yeah, there's many pieces to that kind of puzzle that can cause some depression.
Terrible. I mean, I feel so blessed that I have something that works for me.
Tough one.
My wife's been reading a bunch of stuff about Civil War stuff. So many guys lost limbs. She's a nurse and lost limbs in the Civil War. And had phantom pain, but they killed themselves.
Yeah.
Very
Phantom pain is extremely common.
Yeah, and they couldn't live with it. There was a lot of suicide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Back then it was just straight opium. Yeah, but it just, well, it was like, what was it? It was like four years. I can't remember what it was.
Somewhere in London, and a waitress said to me, "Oh, I'm doing so great. I got off my payment." And she says she's on
Kratom.
and she buys it locally over the counter. Did you know that? It's not illegal.
You can buy it in. There's several states that it is illegal in.
Yeah.
There's some that have higher restrictions. The DEA is still trying to put it on demand substance. Absolutely, you can still get the same kind of withdrawals as opiates. It's much lower. It's not going to be the same level as a heroin addiction, but it still hits the opiate receptors. It's not an opiate itself, but the alkaloid that's in it still hits those same receptors, and you still get those same withdrawal symptoms. Now, if a client says, "I'm trying to get off heroin, I want to try this," I would much rather have them do that. I mean, we haven't done any studies, and the harm reduction itself
it's way
is
easier
better.
to get off of that. People have been tapering off of
Yep.
that. I was going to suggest maybe you try something, but I mean, not without a doctor. But I'll tell you,
I think that now there's been a couple recorded cases of death, but they can't put it on kratom itself. There was other, I think, high-risk behavior
but then
along
there's
with
something
it.
else called salvia with an arm.
Yeah.
That's really.
I'm a good candidate for stealth surgery.
Isn't that really dangerous?
That stuff, well, it can cause some serious hallucinations. It's very short.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK. Diana, welcome. What's going on in your life, Diana?
Good morning.
Hi.
Well, actually, I listen to you just about every day.
Thank you.
I've never called to ask for help. However, you have helped me in a number of instances and a number of issues, and I just wanted to call to say thank you.
Hey, Diana, thank you very much. I love when I hear from people and they say, my dad listened to you, or I listened to you, or we listened to you for years, and it's
Grandfather.
It's fun. It really is fun. Diana, we have also learned through research that we have actually a majority of women listeners, which is shocking. I mean, I would think that it would be more of a male-skewed show.
Over 60%.
Really?
But
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a lot of women listening, and I love that. I love it. And we also have some younger people, although most of our audience is over 45. Here's the deal. This show is relevant to everyday life. And if I was trying to pitch a show, and I was George Costanza or Jerry Seinfeld, I'd say it's a show about nothing, because it's a show about everything, when they were pitching their show. How do you explain the show? It's about everything.
It's congruent with life.
That's true. With everyday life. Okay, Kevin, this is a complicated one. Go ahead.
Good morning,
Hey.
Mark, Tom, Suzanne. Yeah, so my parents were just out here in Colorado. They live in San Marcos, San Diego, or California, and they're just out here to celebrate my father's 70th birthday, which is today. And
Happy
they
birthday.
got home last night. Yeah, thank you. They got home last night with a note on their door that the gas service energy company came out and turned off their gas because of too much gas was being used in a short period of time. Exactly. So
what? Wait a minute. They turned it off because too much. Are they not paying the bill?
No, there was such a rapid consumption of the natural gas in the home, so they considered it a leak. Okay, so this is all very new information. But my parents walk in and they also have a flood on their floor, brand new hardwood floors that they just put in. And they bought their house with cash, free and clear, and my parents neglected to get homeowners insurance.
Yeah, you know, when a house is paid for, when a house is paid for, nobody bugs you about that stuff, you know, because it's not required by law. Listen, there's something I need to ask. Does this gas have anything to do with the no insurance? Why are you telling me that? Why'd you tell me the story about the gas?
Well, just because that was the first thing that alerted them that something was going on, and that so there was obviously a gas leak.
Oh, I get.
Walked in. Yeah, so it's just part of the story, really.
Okay, I got you. But did the house explode or something?
No, but they've got significant water damage on their new floors. But
what does water have to do with gas? Now I'm really confused. Okay.
It has nothing to do with it. It's a confluence of issues. They still don't know the reasoning behind it.
Okay, so
my call today was say, do they have any?
Let's talk about it. First of all, their gas was turned off, but that really has nothing to do with the damage to the house, right?
Correct.
They obviously have a gas leak. Correct. Okay. Then they also had some kind of flood. What happened there?
Don't know yet. I have tried reaching my father.
Was it from the house? Was it from water inside? Do you know, or water from outside coming in?
I do not know the answer to that question yet.
Here's why I ask this. If it was water from the outside coming in, and it was due to somebody else's negligence, whether it be the city or anyone else, there could be an option there if it's someone else caused the damage. Other than that, if you have damage to your home, it's your home and you're 100% responsible. And if there's no insurance, oh my God, that's terrible, because they have to face every penny of that on their own. The good news is that here's the good news is that if you have no loan on that house and it's a house, it's got to have an appraised value, and you're not going to have any trouble getting a line of credit or loan because it'll be a first deed of trust or a first mortgage. So unless it's a piece of crap. So
no, it's a nice home.
Okay, then they can get a loan. Now, how old are they? 70. You just said 70.
Yeah, 70 today.
What's the house worth?
Birthday. I would say it's probably upper nines to $1 million.
Okay. They can get a
This is their retirement, right? I mean, this is everything.
Okay, if they're never going to leave there, they could get a reverse mortgage. I mean, if they can't afford a payment because they put everything into this house and they wanted to live there the rest of their lives, they can get a reverse loan. And I mean, you have to find out what they qualify for, but because it's paid off, there's a limit to a reverse loan. I mean, if you have a $10 million house, you're not going to get a $5 million loan, but I am sure they're going to get enough, way more than they need to fix that if they want to get it. Now, they could get a line, let's just say they get a line of credit on their home. And it's a line of credit reverse mortgage because they're both over 62 and they have equity. They would be able to get a pretty sizable line of credit. They use the line of credit to pay off the basement. Now, if they want, or whatever was damaged, if they want, they can pay it off and keep the line of credit at zero, or they can let it just sit there. They don't have to pay a dime. I want you to know something. Under these particular circumstances, if your parents will stay there the rest of their lives, they do not ever have to pay it back, even if the loan accumulated to more than the house is worth. The only downside, of course, is you would not inherit anything.
Sure. Well, I'm not worried about that.
But a reverse loan is truly, in this circumstance, a real option. Unless, of course, they can qualify for a regular loan and just pay it off.
Okay.
But with a reverse loan, if they can still pay it off. I mean, you're not precluded from paying it off just because it's a reverse.
Yeah.
You can get a reverse loan, and they can use a line of... I wouldn't get the monthly payment unless they want that. They could get a monthly payment, or they could get a lump sum. I wouldn't recommend that. But the line of credit I really like. Because here's something interesting with a line of credit on a reverse loan. If you don't use it, let's say they got as much as a $500,000, I don't know what they would get, but let's just say a couple $100,000 line of credit. If they don't use $150,000 of it, it accumulates interest, which increases the line of credit. It doesn't go into their pocket, but it increases the amount they can borrow. So that line of credit grows each year.
Okay.
And if they did use it for the basement and never paid a dime on it, it won't have any impact on their lives at all, ever. The only thing they have to do is keep the house insured, and they have to pay their taxes. The only two requirements for a reverse loan. You have to pay your taxes, and you have to keep it insured.
Okay.
So,
right. Well,
really, I would
appreciate
truly...
that.
Now, listen, I just talked about Joan Sullivan. She's the one I would call on this, because here's why I say this. Are they in California, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there are a lot of rip-offs out there when it comes to reverse loans. In other words, if they call someone, I don't want someone trying to talk them into some giant reverse loan for really all these rates. And Joan will say, listen, this is all you need, and whatever, and she'll walk you through it. I don't want someone slamming your parents into a loan they don't need. So here's the number. And Suzanne, you can make sure he gets it. It's 303-771 3528. We got more coming right up.
Now that was a good call, because this is an exact example where reverse loan is the most perfect example.
Oh,
Exactly.
I thought he was going to say the pipes froze, and that's what caused it.
Yeah, from them turning the gas.
But I caught the California thing.
No, it could be up in the mountains,
Well, I guess
California.
it hadn't been up here.
But I don't know where he was going to the gas caused the flood other than the pipes freezing.
Weird coincidence.
I think he was trying to see if they would pay for it.
Besides the gas leak, if you have excessive electrical use for gas, you know, they all get too small.
Oh, I did. Well, not gas so much, but well, gas because of leak, electrical because they're thinking it might be.
Even gas.
I did too. No, I did too, because I brought this up here to show you.
No, I know.
Is it
Really?
too sweet?
A lot of times they don't have to warm
Is it right?
it, they got to cool it because of the
All right.
Well, I love that. Yeah, I've got one next. I love it.
It is.
Mark, I love that.
You broke.
No. We have one next fresh. And I saw all these metal building, all no windows, all these expensive air conditioners across the back of it. They're Hachis.
They got to have ventilation big time.
Yeah, and I asked him about it, and they got to keep it at 55 degrees.
Honest assessment.
For whatever they're growing.
Nothing to fool around about. The other side will always try to minimize your claim. The other side will always try.
No, I thought he was going to say that the pipes froze.
Once a week, we get a call to rent one of our hangar houses.
Yeah. You should be paid. I mean, after all, if you broke someone's window at a house or you ruined their car, they expect you to pay for it. It's not something you can ever do on your own. So if you have
I was going to say for the update, yeah, the guy's going to buy him a whole new generator. Beat that, Clint.
I was going to give him one.
Do you have K&H's contact info, like Ted Rowland's cell phone by any chance?
In the year 2000, when they changed
If you do, man, I just really use it.
Someone
try to
tried
keep this alive.
The actual shelf life.
Why,
is 90
did
days.
not go well or what?
It's only 90 days.
Oh, no, I just want to know.
I've
We had
had
a meeting
gasoline in
today.
my lawnmower all over winter. First pull.
Honda?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
But, yeah. But Honda does, I don't know how they do it.
So I worked with Schlumberger for 30 years. You worked with Halliburton?
No, my
No, your
son.
son-in-law worked for Halliburton. What does he do for Halliburton?
He's actually a mud engineer. But,
Okay. So he works for one
A
of the...
mud
yeah.
engineer.
Yeah.
God, it's
Yeah.
a,
Oh, no, that's a big deal. They got
What
to have
is
the right
it?
mud. Well, when they drill, that's the fluid in the holes called mud. And it can't be interaction with the different formations down there. It's got to be the right weight. If they get gas influx, it's a big
it's
deal.
a science. It's a big science.
What's big signs?
Mud engineer for drilling oil wells.
Mud engineer.
Yeah.
Mud has to go down the hole.
That lifts the cuttings up, the little rock that they do, lifts the cuttings up, keeps the formation from coming in, keeps
Otherwise,
gas.
things will crash in.
Oil or gas will come in, and then
Viscosity of the mud, the type
blow
of
out
mud,
everything.
it changes by layer.
It's really big in the Gulf Coast. Really big.
And when they dig out the Gulf, in the Gulf, is that, I mean, how do you even start a well? I mean, do they just put a freaking bit
They
down?
used to have platforms that are anchored to the floor. Now they actually have floating pieces.
They got floating boats, and they got little things that just keep them right there.
But how do you close in? Wasn't there a well leaking? They couldn't shut it off.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's
How?
Well, the BOP is down below there. The BOP failed. Blow-off preventer, I'm sorry. Blow-off preventer. So if something happens, they can actually automatically go shut here.
And it failed.
They failed, and they had the pipe.
There's no redundancy on that?
Oh yeah, there's several different, three of them.
They all failed, didn't they?
Yeah.
And how'd they finally get it?
I think they put like a big cone thing over it.
It's a bell.
And then that directed it, and they were able to put to cap it off.
They were blocked.
Oh, that's a,
So
you got
there's
that
a giant
cone still sitting on it.
It's called a bell.
I don't know.
It was in Scandinavia. Halliburton owned it. Obama wouldn't let him Halliburton. Wouldn't let him bring it on the site for months until everything else failed.
Oh, I thought they were looking for some.
I should have it, but I don't have it on.
100-ton bell. They tried a small one and failed. And they finally brought this big one in. And it looked just like
I think we have to voicemail.
they're just
It's me on my phone.
They dropped down over. And
That's why I wanted to call.
You know, he sent me a voice.
You have the smart, does the Apple tell you who it is no matter who calls?
No, sometimes, but not all the time. I don't know why sometimes.
It does, mine almost does. It's amazing, almost everybody. Or it'll tell me suspicious.
Okay, let's say this is it.
Is this an Apple?
Oh, yeah, the other one.
I don't know what it is. It's just part of Android
Well,
now.
people, smart people.
And it'll say like if it's a
also
known bullshit number, you know.
Yeah.
When they had the big fires,
It's way more helpful than
Hi, Tom Martino here. I am your consumer advocate. Thank you for being here. The Raleigh House is here. We're talking about addiction treatment, and they have a premier addiction treatment facility here. In fact, they have multiple locations. I've partnered with them because we do this special line that people can call and ask anything when it comes to addiction. Of course, they'd like to tell you about their program, but this is not a sales job. This line is truly for information. And you can also go to theraleighouse.com. What is the most common addiction you're getting nowadays? I want people to know what's out there and they don't feel alone.
I'd say the main two that we see are generally going to be opiates, being anything ranging from heroin to prescription pills, and then alcohol. Those are really the main two that we see, and then it's kind of followed by other types of prescriptions, and then cocaine and methamphetamine.
Is alcohol truly outpacing everything still?
It is, and I think there's a number of reasons why it is in terms of being socially acceptable. It's legal and some other pieces, but the addiction itself is one of the most catastrophic in terms of the side effects, the withdrawal, and some of the other health-related issues that come along with that.
Okay, so is marijuana having an impact at all on being what people used to call a gateway drug? I don't know if I believe in gateway drugs. I don't know because I don't know enough about it to say yay or nay. First of all, has it increased? Has it done anything to the numbers, to the stats?
I don't think it's changed the stats a whole lot. I think that we are seeing, I think it still comes down to the other kind of pieces that are some external variables, also the person's mental health and their kind of well-being at the time that they decide to start smoking the marijuana. Now, of course, it is more readily available, being legal here in Colorado, but I think it is still kind of more the other pieces around them that can really send them down that road of addiction.
So you're saying it's not really having a cause, having an effect on things, really, one way or the other.
I think the one thing that we are seeing with the potency and just it being readily available is people that have a propensity for something like schizophrenia or some of the other behavioral health diagnoses. It can actually open that door a little bit sooner and help to bring that schizophrenia, the onset on a little bit sooner. Yeah.
Really? Huh.
And that could be with using other substances as well, but because it's readily available and the potency, that schizophrenia may have onset later or may not have come on, but then it helps to speed that process.
Interesting. Do you have... Is marijuana, it's not physically addicting. We know, I think we know that. Don't we know that or not? We know it's not physically addictive or not, or is it?
It does not have the same physical addiction kind of properties as, let's say, alcohol, benzodiazepines, or opiates.
But have you seen people who may have problems from an addiction with, or a psychological or emotional addiction to it?
Absolutely, and I think that's often when people have some of the most hesitance to reach out for help because I think there can be a shame around it, or often people kind of say, it's only pot, it's not that big of a deal, kind of pick yourself up by your bootstraps, when really it's on an individual basis if it is really causing and affecting that person's life.
It can affect them the same as any addiction.
Absolutely.
Even if it's not physical, right?
Absolutely.
They don't go to work, or they lay around, or or they're moody if they don't have it. So it can be an addiction even if it's not physically addicting.
Absolutely.
Okay, you guys can get through at 303-713-TALK, or if that line's full with consumer problems, you can use 303-MARTINO, 303-627-8466. And Thomas, what's happening? Thomas.
Yes.
What's going on with Jeffco Courts?
Well, to clue you in, a friend of mine is going through a situation.
Criminal or civil? Criminal or civil?
Well, she's being denied of what has been supposedly put against her. They're saying that most likely she took stole a car from up here in Summit County.
Okay, you hold on, and we'll come back to that. It sounds more criminal than anything. We'll try to get one of our criminal defense attorneys on. Stick around for more.
See if Lazar is around.
She apparently most likely stole a car.
Mark, I have his number. Thank you.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
She kind of may have stole it.
Julian, are you looking for the rest?
Yeah, I'm heading that way.
It was, some people would call it an accident.
Accidentally stole a car.
Yeah.
He's a nut.
Is he really?
Well, I had to tell him, I said, Thomas, you Randall, I'll guarantee you Tom's going to shut you down.
Who's in that?
The Tom's guy. I don't want to say
We want to work with affordability
she's
and
got
what you can make as a
possibly
every month so that
A&E
you're
and
comfortable
a
and it's something that works well for your situation.
Call Brent Ivinson and his team at 303-867-7000, 867-7000. IdealHomeLoans.com. Help when you need it most. Equal opportunity lender regulated by DORA, NMLS 13675.
Yeah, Tillerson, they think is going to serve out to the end of the year, so he saves his full dignity. You're the CEO of Exxon.
On 630 KI, an iHeart radio station, KHOW, Denver.
Hope rally on Wall Street. Brady, Fox News, optimism
Hope
for tax
rally?
reform getting credit.
A record-setting day on Wall Street. In fact,
You're right. If they don't pass that now, the market will drop.
Oh my God, it'll kill, man. They better not do that. I mean, it's crazy today. What is it, still up around 350?
307.
So it came off a little.
Doing very well, airlines and also truckers doing well on
I don't know why airlines are doing good with the cost of fuel going up.
Ladies, at the New York Stock Exchange right now, the Dow is up 311 points. That optimism.
Banks, I thought, would be way up
A lot of those
because
trucking companies, they have a charge, they have a fuel surcharge.
right, but and airlines do too.
Yeah.
So, but actually, those.
I don't know if it keeps up with the cost of fuel exactly. But
I think they get more.
they get more. Okay.
These Costco is way up. Should have bought more. Geez, this company I was looking at, and I still Enbridge. They just came out, it's a pipeline company.
They're killing it.
They came out and just said today that they're raising their dividend. It was already 5%. It's up. I mean, I was seriously. I was looking. I read this article. It's up 5.2%.
For everyone, no matter how great the legacy.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda?
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I got a lot of those every day, man. Woulda, coulda, shoulda avoided Foot Locker with all, every...
You know people like going to the malls and trying on shoes and buying them there.
Not me, Jack.
No, I don't. I think they must have made a deal that some of these first-time out shoes only go to Foot Locker.
When you were a little kid, you thought
I didn't know that. I didn't know
And
that.
I think I know those Michael Jordan ones.
Michael Jordan's and some other ones.
teach you to do better, but he was also about this stuff comes out. But what would you
The tough piece with that is because it's not FDA approved, it's rare that you'll get a doctor to say go for it. Our psychiatrist, he can order it online actually by the kilogram.
But isn't about the kilogram that bothered me about it? This might be dangerous.
There's not a whole lot of research that's been done on it to really know the efficacy and any other kind of potential medication interactions or side effects that could come along. Now, let's say in harm reduction, like I said, if someone is an IV heroin user,
great things are happening in teaching, and put it back on your list.
Don't
convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more.
it does now. I think the dangerous thing with that is that can still be abused in the end.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, I think it can still be a step in the right direction, not to the same degree.
And it doesn't.
What's up, girl?
Nothing. Are you getting brothers tonight?
I don't know, because I got to haul ass back on that
that's
delivery.
right. Yeah, because you get your Christmas present early, but I don't. Because his Christmas present
The
is a
tough piece
family
with that
present.
is to transition from an
That's bullshit, Dan.
Are you sharing it with the family?
That's right.
Yeah.
They are allowed to watch my TV.
Yeah, no one cares but him, but he gets his early, but I don't get my Christmas present early.
What's yours?
Yeah, but they can do that.
I don't, either a phone or an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Oh, you like the Apple? You really want to do a watch?
I've been bugging him for a
Yeah, I
while.
mean, there's a few options.
So, Tom, how come he gets his Christmas present early, but I can't have mine?
Did I give him something?
No, I'm talking, he ordered.
Oh, yeah.
Did I forget?
Don't give him shit.
Headphones?
He ordered the TV and
That's funny.
but I want my Apple Watch and I can't get it early.
I had to buy mine on Black Friday.
Well, you bought mine too. You even
What
said
kind
don't
of
forget
Apple
the
Watch
order.
do you want? I didn't know.
I want an Apple Watch for sure.
So it's not
My
like
wife
ours?
is a nurse, and
What kind? I mean, what are they? I was thinking of that, but I wonder, are they nerdy? Tell me about
They're
them.
cool.
I know nothing about them.
They track your health stuff, then you get your text on it too. It's,
Phone calls.
You can also get a cellular one, but you have to have an extra subscription to a line.
So does it hook to your phone? Though?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I'm in yoga, I always get a little stressed, like if Mark said
Can
that
you
they
listen to
go
music on it?
I
But you have to
believe
have
so.
your phone near you.
Yeah.
within 30, 40 feet. So if I'm in yoga, that's like, and then it tracks your health and
But then you can get onto the phone number.
It
you
is.
can, but I'm not
It was
doing that.
invented years ago, and it was called a Fitbit.
Oh, listen,
An
I
Apple
told
carrier.
John Fuller, we're going to lose line 2 if we don't take him
I
after
mean, I
this.
think
He's like,
that
I
was
got
always
that.
the next
It's full of
step.
severity.
Okay,
Yeah.
you can get them. I'll hire
My
you.
wife's a surgical nurse, and she can't answer the phone. That vibrates on her wrist, and she just looks at the text.
I didn't know your wife still worked.
Yeah, she works 2 days a week, so we have insurance.
The John McCain thing is all over all of my social media feeds now that he said yes.
It's huge.
That's what did I think that
It's
should be the
huge.
holdout.
The other big thing that I've seen is if you go to Pocahontas.com, it'll automatically roll you through to Elizabeth Warren's site.
He's 90, that's great.
That's hilarious.
Still healthy, still.
That's big news.
I thought that was the funniest damn press conference
You know,
he's ever
we did our
held.
genealogy. and we went
He's
back
sitting there next to this
11,
Indian
20.
that's got to be in his 90s.
Yeah, he was one of the code talkers. So
He was, that's right. He was like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, one of the Navajo code
That's why he
talkers.
was there.
Was when his family.
But I like you much better.
He goes, well, you know, you're nothing. You know,
That's
compared to Pocahontas there.
Because they were named.
And the funny thing is now all the Navajo code talkers, all they're like, no, it doesn't offend us. And they even have a descendant of Pocahontas that doesn't offend us. But of course, all the white, like, snowflakes that are, you're crying, you know, this horrible cultural appropriation. And
These are jokesters.
I think he's funny as hell, man.
If you can, I'm feeling down, and I do.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere. You know we have referralist.com I talk about. I really urge you people to look at it because you know what? When we have our shows about topics, we go to that referral list for our expert. Yeah, we have experts in every category that we have on the referral list. I really police it. We monitor it. It's advertising with accountability. John Fuller is one of the members. Hi, John. John is a personal injury attorney. And the reason we have you on, John, is Rod has a question about injury. His wife was injured, so we're going to talk about that. Welcome, John. Thank you.
Good morning.
Now, John, are you going to remain in Colorado for the entire Christmas season?
No, we're heading out of town right now. So.
Oh, are you going to your place now? Are you going down south?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, as far as the storm, are you all recovered?
I think so. We'll see when we get there.
All right. Now, John, here is the issue. Go ahead, Rod.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Rod. Well, about 9 months ago, my wife was at the Kohl's parking lot in Parker, Colorado, and she was dropping off a piece of patio furniture, a table she purchased out of her truck, her van, and she went into the customer service and said, "I'm returning this table," which is, I think it's like a...
Okay, that's fine. She was returning a table to Kohl's, and what happened? How did she get injured?
Okay, so she went into the customer service, said, "You got to bring somebody out to lift this. I can't help you. It's too heavy." So this manager or lady came out with a four-wheel cart. She brought it up to her car, and my wife said, "You got to get some help. It's too heavy." Well, she did not do that, so she's dragging this box table out of the car, and the cart started to slip away from our vehicle, and the table fell on her wrist.
On whose wrist?
On my wife's wrist.
No, your wife was standing close, or did your wife chip in to help?
Well, she chipped in to help because the cart was going to fall out from underneath this heavy table. So basically, and after that happened, the thing fell on her wrist, and she started screaming and running around. Another store owner next to Kohl's saw this, called the paramedics and the police department. They all showed up, and she went into the police vehicle or fire department's vehicle. The paramedics looked at her and said, "You're going to have to go to the ER and get."
Okay, so what is? Are you feeling Kohl's is responsible because your wife ran in to help and got injured? Right? Is that it in a nutshell?
Yeah, it is, and this is.
Because we get a lot of complaints about two things, two categories, and I was going to ask John about this separately. One is the injury itself, and the next one that causes even more. The reason people complain many times is the response to the injury. I bet you John Fuller will get calls from people who say, "Well, I fell and the guy just looked at me and said, 'Well, you're going to get up,' or he said, he didn't call a doctor, or he didn't do this." And often, even though the injury's not that bad, the response made somebody so pissed off that they want to do something about it. So in this case, is it the response or is it the injury?
It's both.
Okay, John, is a response, if a response doesn't add to an injury, is it even actionable, or does it even enter into the case at all?
No, it really does not. And you're right, we get calls all the time that, people are just upset on principle alone, or you get the famous, I could have broken my leg on this, or I could have died on this, or, this could have happened. And what could have happened is what motivates them to call an attorney. And so in almost every case where it's something that the reaction by the staff of the store was less than what you would hope for, that never really adds up to that doesn't add to the viability of a case. It doesn't add to your damages at all.
Right, okay. So, what about, then let's talk about the injury. That's really all that counts. Let's talk about the injury.
Okay, so it was about $4,000 in medical bills for the, which we haven't paid yet because...
And what else? Keep going.
It's $4,000 in medical bills. And then my wife contacted a couple of different law firms to say, "Well, what should we do?" When she went online. And
you didn't tell me one thing about the injury. I just asked about the injury, and you told me about lawsuits and law firms, and you talked about $4,000 in doctor bills. What is the injury?
Well, her wrist was severely bruised, and it wasn't broken, but
it's bruised. Is it a lifetime injury?
They basically determined no, it probably won't be a lifetime injury.
And she'll recover.
She'll recover. And
okay. How much discomfort? How long was she in discomfort?
Probably 4 or 5 months.
Okay. When did this happen?
Oh, well, about 8, 9 months ago.
Okay. So what are you asking?
Well, so she basically, it took 2 weeks for Kohl's to even, they never got back to her.
See, none of this matters as far, listen,
Okay.
the response doesn't matter, their lack of response doesn't matter. What matters is what you want for the damages. It doesn't matter. You see, I'm trying to get you into the mode of what is the damage. You had $4,000 in doctor bills. It's not a permanent injury. And by the way, Rod, I'm not saying Kohl's acted properly. I'm not on their side at all, and it all sucks. But I'm trying to get your answer from an attorney now. So, other than they took a long time and it pissed you off and they didn't treat you right, and I'll agree with you on it, what do you want?
Well, so we basically wrote them a letter saying, here's our demand.
What is your demand?
Pardon me?
What is your demand?
$19,000 or $20,000.
Now, how did you come up with $20,000?
We basically, after checking online to see how these are typically handled, they say you take the claim times 4 or 5 times.
Okay, first of all, is that a myth, John? People tell me that all the time. 5 times medical damages.
Absolutely not.
A myth. Okay. Now, Rod, did she miss work?
Well, we're self-employed, so she runs our.
Did she miss any work?
You know, yes. I don't know how many days, but she did miss work, and she was, she was in pain.
I understand that. On a 1 to 10, what was the pain?
8.
Okay, and it's now better.
Yes.
Okay, 4 or 5 months in pain, started out as an 8. She didn't really miss much work. She has $4,000 in doctor bills. $20,000 you just really pulled out of the air. So, how much do they offer, if anything?
Well, at first they said, well, we're not going to pay any of this.
I don't care what they said at first. What did they offer? Do you understand? It doesn't matter what they said and what they did in the beginning or how they responded to you. What did they offer?
$2,000 at first, and then after we said, well, that's not even covering our medical. Then they came back. There was a couple days or a week delay, and they came back and finally said, well, we just aren't responsible to pay anything, but we'll pay $3,500. And my wife had a conversation with them, and they finally came back and said, well, we'll pay your medical bills, and that's it.
So that means $4,000 or more.
$4,000.
Okay. Now, thank you for that. And Rod, I'm on your side, but I have to get to the issue, and I think what you were doing is what a lot of people do. They enhance the story with what I call the PIA, the pain in the ass element, because it adds to your frustration, but it doesn't add to damages. Not unless, listen, there's one exception, John can tell you about it, punitive damages, when they really jerk you around. John, when are punitive damages? When do they apply?
They only come into effect when you have willful and wanton conduct and when a judge allows it. It's not even allowed to be pled initially in Colorado.
Okay.
You have to have really bad conduct on the behalf of the defendant, and I don't mean just for customer service. I mean hiding things. A blatant series of conduct.
Right. So we don't have punitive here, most likely.
Not a chance.
So what do you think about, John, if this guy calls you at your office, what do you think about, you heard the story, $4,000 they offered.
To be perfectly honest with you, these are tough cases. Okay?
Right.
These are difficult cases. You're basically asserting, negligence, and there's defenses that are available to them that they're going to plead, such as assumption of the risk, stating that by agreeing to help out in any way, your wife assumed the risk of something happening. And not that I'm agreeing that she did, but those are legally available defenses that you have to factor into your analysis. It's not the type of case that I would think you'd really want to file litigation on, because the damages are so small. It may not even exceed the threshold of the district.
Well, what do you think about $20,000?
Well, we went by.
Hold on, John Fuller. What do you think about $20,000?
I don't see them ever paying $20,000 for a bruised wrist.
Okay. So, Rod, you really have to, this is an experienced litigator, an experienced attorney. You really have to take him at what he says. I mean, he'll fight tenaciously if he thinks you have a case, or he'll advise you accordingly. He's not going to waste your time. So
I agree, Tom. I agree totally. It's just you're right at first when you said it pisses you off when they don't.
Right.
They couldn't find the paperwork. They said, "Well, no,
I know, but it won't matter."
Well, this is very upsetting. And
so what do you really think would not insult you right now? Tell me, if they came back and said, "We'll pay $8,000, that's it."
Well, that would be good.
Then you should start talking to them then. Do you think, John, they're going to be inclined to offer any more based on this conversation?
They may.
Yeah, they may.
They may. I mean, you're not over $5,000 yet, and very likely, and they probably wouldn't tell you this, but a lot of these stores have a non-liability dependent MedPay portion of their insurance that they'll just have available to pay out without ever admitting fault and without ever getting into pain and suffering and stuff. That may be what they're dealing out of so far. You know, here's the deal, Rob. If you now turn this over to an attorney, okay, that attorney would have to turn this into a $12,000 or $15,000 case for it to mean exactly the same thing to you as it does in net $4,000
Yeah.
pay. And that's unfortunately just the economic realities. You've got $4,000 in bills that are outstanding. I'm assuming you didn't turn those over to your insurance. If you did not and they're outstanding, they're going to go into collections at some point. If you did turn them into your insurance company, they have a right to get paid back. So, you know, if the bills are outstanding, you can negotiate those bills, perhaps get a little bit of a reduction on those, put some money in your wife's pocket, and move on down the road. That may not be the worst course of action.
Now, here's the other thing, Rod. If insurance does pay for the injuries, you know, unless they ask for the repayment, John, does he have to pay it back?
Yes.
He does.
They have an absolute contractual right to subrogate or get paid back for damages that they pay.
But you have to wait. But don't they have to ask for it, or do you have to volunteer it?
You can look at your health insurance contract. Most of them affirmatively give them that right. If you don't honor their right and live up to your end of the contract, you run the risk that they could invalidate any future care for that injury. So if something came up down the road and your wife all of a sudden needed surgery, they'd look back on it and say, wait a minute, you didn't pay us back. We're not paying for any of this.
But unless they, I think, but what if they don't audit? If they don't ask, how did this happen? Don't they usually audit it and ask? Or do you have to tell them up front this was from an accident?
The answer to your question is in the insurance contract with your health insurance company.
Okay.
And I think we have to pay everything out of pocket.
Okay, so here's the bottom line. Thank you, John Fuller. That's the bottom line. And Rod, you got to negotiate. But remember what he said. It's not going to be worth going to an attorney. 303-597-4500. 303-597-4500. That's John Fuller. And that's why you call him, for straight, honest truth. You know, I love good auto repair facilities. You hear me talk about them on my referral list. We have Car Friday, you know, Car Day. Budget A1 Transmission and Auto Repair has been a part of my referral list for years and years. Why? Because Mark Machowski is dedicated to value, service, efficiency, and knowledge. He gains knowledge all the time. He's always training, being trained, and he is 27 years strong and nearly 20 years on the referral list at referrallist.com with great reviews. Foreign and domestic cars, classic car repair, of course, automatic and standard transmissions. He does his rebuilding right in-house. You get an American-made transmission, and he rebuilds yours. He doesn't send it out to anyone else. You will love the work they have. They give 1 hour of free accurate diagnostics, free. If you drive in, you know how you're afraid when you have a transmission problem, what am I going to do? There, let them spend an hour on it. They'll tell you what's wrong with it, and there will be no obligation and no cost. That's Budget A1 Transmission and Auto Repair on Santa Fe, just south of Dartmouth, 303-781-9858. 303-781-9858.
From the L&L Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic Center.
Well, I pulled the teeth to get the information out. I'm not sure.
You notice how people want to tell everything around a story? Yeah. Because it's enhancing their damage.
Yeah.
And it's not just with personal injury, but with anything. Well, the guy said, and he said, it's just a natural human tendency. But you know what? It doesn't get. Did I do Frank Duran, the real estate man?
No.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I get it. And when they act badly, it's you want to be punitive to them. I kind of get that. But boy, when you're trying to get to the meat of it. What's the stock market doing? Any good?
What's that?
Up 300, I believe.
I have absolutely nothing in the stock market.
Oh, man. Okay, where's your 401k at?
In real estate. I'm like Tom, it's all in real estate. All in one, all my eggs in one basket.
I can't believe oil's not back up because OPEC just said they extended 9 months to the end of 2018.
When that big crash was, when the 401s became 101s, you know, people lost about 3/4 of the money.
Oh, 101s.
Yeah, my wife and I pulled out right before they had pulled the money in. We had to pay that 25% tax liability, but it was way less than what we would have lost.
That was a big one. It's, well, I say,
We could have nixed that one. But
interest
it's
rates
okay.
go up,
No
and
big
whatever,
deal.
banks are going to go way up.
Ah.
Show this weekend at the Denver Merchandise Mart, the largest gun show in Colorado, is even bigger and better.
Sounds like you invest a little bit, Julian, huh?
Yeah, the one that I've been watching that I put some in last past year's Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, good.
Dude,
How much did you put in?
I bought 4 coins when they were at like $630.
Oh, brother!
That crested 11,000 yesterday. It's back down to 10
So
now.
so tell me, how would you get rid of them now?
Well, I mean, you can just sell. I guess that's the hard part because it's more of a bet than anything. I mean, there's talk about it potentially going to the Dow or But,
so this is what I don't understand. Why couldn't we print our own money? How is that any different than Bitcoin?
It isn't. It isn't.
And that's what I just don't see on this whole thing.
I don't, but when people are buying into it.
Right, but they bought into Beanie Babies, like I said. I mean,
Yeah.
Beanie Babies were worth.
You are so right.
But,
If people decided they were useless tomorrow, there's nothing.
And there's a
It's
whole
not
bunch
the government back.
What if you did back it with gold?
They don't have to.
Who's
But
going to
it's
have
not. Who's going to back it?
$50 billion of gold?
Yeah.
No, we're silver.
But who?
Who's going to have that?
The founder. They don't even know
probably,
who he is.
there's
Well,
billionaires.
No, I'm talking about starting up your own currency, like you're talking about.
Well, if you have that much gold, what's your limit?
You get investors.
Just wanna stay in the sun where I find I know it's
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, the best. If you're looking to list your home, I'm going to tell you right out, you can find no one better. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622. He's with RE/MAX Alliance. Even though the market's hot, you need somebody really good at what they do. He knows how to ferret out the offers and find one that'll close, and he'll do it right. He stages your home, cleans your home, and proactively markets your home. You're not just a face in the crowd when you go with Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. Okay, let's talk to Thomas again. I have to go back because we went and had our attorney on and wanted to get to him right away. So, Tom, let's talk about your friend and the issues with Jeffco Court. She was charged with a crime. What was the crime?
Let me break it down to you quickly. Well, there was a case of supposedly aggravated motor vehicle theft, first degree.
What does that mean, Thomas?
And resisting arrest, and then cruelty to an animal.
So how did this all happen? Tell me the event.
Well, I was called on a Friday. She called me 3 times, but there were 2 times that there was no answer. She didn't talk. There was like a hesitation. She clicks, hangs up the phone after 3 seconds. The next time she calls, 6 seconds, but I hear like rattling of paper, like someone was writing something down on a notepad. The 3rd time she calls, and this event, she was on the phone about 3 minutes. and she wanted to go to my storage area, and I found there were clothing. I have evidence.
Thomas, you're all over the board, bro. This might be making sense to you, but no one is following you. Here, just let me ask you, okay?
Go ahead.
Okay. She was stopped by police. Is that how it all started or not?
West Alameda and Colfax, somewhere down in that area.
She was stopped.
Yes.
Okay. And when she was stopped, how did they decide she had a stolen car?
Well, one, I don't know if she didn't drive it down there or if she was taken down there helping someone relocate, and I'm denied of getting a police report from that case.
Okay, so she was stopped and somehow charged with car theft.
A canine unit. A dog grabbed her ankle. She is being denied medical treatment.
Okay.
She's being denied.
But right now, I just need to get the facts. She was stopped and arrested for car theft. What is aggravated car theft? What did they say she did?
Motor vehicle, supposedly she took a car, stole a car, but as far as I know, there is no evidence of this.
Okay, so she wasn't in that car when they stopped her.
I don't even know that.
That's fine. That's a good answer. As long as that's all I'm asking. If you don't know, fine.
Yeah.
So she was stopped, aggravated theft, and then what about resisting?
Supposedly there was a resisting arrest, supposedly, but it doesn't give any other details.
Okay. The next thing was, what was the cruelty thing?
The cruelty, it was a canine unit that most likely stopped her. And then there was another vehicle that most likely pulled up. I only found this out from her.
I understand. What was the cruelty?
Most likely to a canine unit dog.
You mean she was maybe kicking the dog?
Either that or the dog charged at her, but the dog bit her in the ankle.
Okay.
She's being denied in Jeffco medical treatment.
Okay, I understand. We're going to get to that part. After she was stopped, and obviously it was under terrible circumstances.
Yes.
She was taken to jail, right? Can we get to that part?
She was most likely, she told me she was assaulted, thrown in the paramedics, and they put something in her, supposedly. Took her to the hospital, then they took her to the station.
All right. Is she on drugs?
She had her ups and downs.
Okay, that's good. Okay, and so she was taken to jail and charged. Yes. And there was a hearing. Did anyone post? Was she offered bond or bail?
Well, down there it's 2,000.
Down where?
Down at Jeffco.
Okay, so she's still in jail?
Yes.
Okay, and you're now let's get to the part where you say she's being denied. One at a time.
Yes.
What is she being denied, or what are you being denied?
I'm being, one, I've been trying to get the police report for several weeks.
Thomas, do we have our defense attorney ready? I asked you to get Joe.
He has not got back to me yet, Tom.
Thank you. There is a way to get it, but under an active investigation, it may not be. You may not be able to get it unless you're her or a defense attorney preparing for trial. Okay, but that's not going to be difficult. But why do you want the police report?
Well, I want to know by detail what is going on.
Okay, all right.
I'm the only one that has gone down there to visit.
Okay, I understand.
She has no relatives.
I understand.
Okay.
And what else is being denied? Other than the police report, what else is being denied?
Medical treatment. She's been jumped in there twice.
Okay.
She's had head trauma.
Okay.
She's had bludgeons to the head. She's got a hole in the back of her back.
And they've not let her see.
The dog.
She's had
no doctor, no photos, no nothing.
Okay, so no medical treatment. What else?
She's being denied going to the law library that they have there, and also she was jumped during transport to come back up to Summit County for a other part of a case that she was trying to deal with.
Well, what was that case? Hold on. What was that other case?
Go ahead.
What was the other case?
It was a place where she was living with a girl, and she had one room to herself. The other girl had another room.
What was the charge?
That was supposedly breaking and entering.
So listen, Thomas, this woman is a victim of all this supposedly stuff, right? None of it's true. None of it's true. She didn't steal a car. She didn't break and enter. She didn't resist arrest.
He already told you she's had her ups and downs.
Right.
I'll give you this. She may possibly suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, ADHD, and bipolar.
Okay.
She wants to have a physical. She's begged for me to help, and I've been trying to help.
Well, if she's mentally ill, she certainly should. Okay. Well, you keep saying you're being denied. It's not that you're being denied. There's a process for all of it. I understand it doesn't move as quickly as we want. I understand that. Believe me, she's in the system, as they say. It's a pain in the ass. It really is. But she's in the system. So does she have an attorney right now?
Well, she's got a so-called clown, a public defender, and I saw him. I was down there as of Tuesday.
Okay.
Court Tuesday.
Tell me about the public defender. Do you feel the public defender is representing her?
No, he wants her to plead guilty.
Well, maybe she is. I mean, Thomas, you don't know that.
She cannot drive a car, and also the fact of it is, supposedly...
What are you talking about? She can't drive a car.
Well, her license, she had a DUI I forgot out.
My God, every time I talk to you, it just keeps getting better and better. So we have break and entering, a DUI, stolen car. Come on, Thomas. How do you know this lady? How do you know the lady?
I was in court.
Met her on Colfax.
How do you know her?
I've known her over a year.
How do you know her? I mean, is she an acquaintance? Is she a romantic interest? How do you know her?
She's a very good person. She's a very good friend.
Okay.
She's been up here for a long time. Guys, turn around. You want to use my phone, you got to do this.
You sound like a good guy. You sound like a good guy. You want to help her out.
I don't smoke the skunky stick, okay? I work.
Okay, it sounds like you're a really good guy and you want to help a friend, and I understand you completely. But what I'm saying, Thomas, you can't assume this public defender is a clown because he wants her to plead. She probably has multiple issues. Maybe he can get her some help.
But she's being denied the medical treatment. She's been begging and begging and begging.
Why don't you just go hit your head against the wall?
What did the public defender say about the medical treatment?
I'm talking about you, Tom.
He was blown away. I talked to him in the hallway.
What did he say about it?
He said, he looks at me and I says, you need to have her have an examination. She wants an examination on the head wounds that she has, the scarring that she had from this dog.
Maybe some plastic surgery, who knows? I mean, the thing is, it's not a country club, Thomas. She can't make demands like that, Thomas. She can't just make demands like that. This is not a country club. She's in prison. She's in jail. I know you're trying to help her, but you can't just go in and start making demands. I want to get to the law library. I want all of these medical treatments. You can't do it. There's a process. Now, I want to speak. That's where we need to get Joe Lazaro, okay? If he's not available, we got to call him and get you back on. Thomas, I will get you real answers, okay? I mean, no matter what my opinion is, no matter what Mark's opinion is, it doesn't matter. I want to ask a criminal defense attorney what are her rights, because I don't know, okay? Thomas, do you hear me? I will get you, I promise you, to get you real answers, okay? You sound like you're a good guy, and you deserve straight answers, okay? Hang on, and we'll do that.
You're a saint.
No, I mean, Mark, the guy's trying to help a friend.
A friend that apparently has broken most laws.
Okay, yes, but guilty or not, there are certain rights she may have. I don't know what they are. I'm going to ask Joe Lazaro. Joe, can she go to the library? Can she get medical treatment? What's the procedure? So I'm going to try to get a hold of him as quickly as possible, or we'll get another criminal defense attorney on our referral list.
Tom, I worked in that jail, Jeffco Jail, as a deputy.
And?
There is a full-time nurse in that jail.
Well, why can't she see him?
And there's a doctor comes through every morning.
Why can't they see him?
She probably has.
Well,
all she has to do is request it.
Let's find out. We'll find out. David Salisbury is an attorney at law on my referral list at referrallist.com. You know what? He handles estates, estate planning, trusts, probate, wills, and just planning in general. David, you say there are two common myths about estates.
That's right, Tom. First one is if you don't have a will, the state's going to be involved in your probate or take your assets.
Well, isn't that true?
That's just not so.
No.
As long as even if you don't have a will, as long as you have one heir out there, one beneficiary, they can come forward and take over. So that is a common myth. And the other one involves federal estate taxes. People think that when they die, their estate, no matter what the size is, will be subject to estate tax. And currently the exemption, meaning you have to have an estate that's worth over $5.5 million in order to be subject to estate tax, and there is no Colorado estate tax. Those are two of the myths that I hear a lot, and you should have a will. I'm not saying don't have a will. I'm just saying if you don't, it doesn't mean that the state's going to come and take your assets.
And as far as the taxes, you're right, David. It's very misunderstood. David Salisbury, if you want real answers, quick answers, if you want to get a hold of somebody like David because somebody suddenly died and you have questions, or you want to do some long-range planning or some short-range planning, David Salisbury will answer your questions. Initial consultations always complimentary. 720-493-3911. 720-493-3911.
From the Fox Business Network, all
I know.
Trading sending the Dow above 24,000 for the first time.
And they don't treat.
And once a leader
there's
in the
nothing they
retail
really treat on the dog
industry,
bite.
continues to
The picture won't do it.
Was there shots?
Bang bang?
Not bang bang. She's lucky. And she's lucky they treat her with cruelty to animals because a lot of times they'll charge her with.
Well, it's a cop. I mean, basically, the dog is a cop.
Assaulting a peace officer if he hurts a dog.
What as if you had like hamburger in your pocket and you bribe the officer?
Teaching the police officer?
No, because you get bribery out of office,
right? Good point. Hey, Julian bought Bitcoin when I told you to buy it.
which could be announced as soon as Monday, would create a healthcare industry.
We've all got Bitcoin envy now.
We sat here not long ago, $600. I'm going, okay, maybe I'll go buy a wallet, blah, blah, blah.
I got a few in at 6:30. I mean, I'm still waiting to see if it goes bust. I mean, I had some extra cash in, so I'm not.
So where are you at, 9,000 a share now, 11,000?
They hit 11,000 yesterday.
Man, you should sell it now.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, the fact that it's gone this far.
I mean, 20%? No.
2,000%. Close for 1,800%.
Some years ago, it was hard to buy it for some reason. I remember my wife looked online, and it wasn't as simple as just.
No, it's not. Hey, Deborah.
You remember what you had to do? Because I remember my wife got on there and got frustrated and gave up.
There's only a couple actual online
wallets.
Otherwise,
you go back and hit personal, then I think it'll ask
Coinbase is the wallet that I use, and you can just buy it online. You have to get like your identity verified and those kind of pieces, but that just takes like 48 hours.
So that's why, at the same time, why don't we just print some money?
Well, that's what I'm saying, Dan.
I don't know any difference. I don't know any difference.
We printed the money.
Besides, this is electronically.
And we had it backed with something.
I think Amazon should do their own and back it with their stock.
But what if we backed it with investors that put something in, like silver?
Absolutely. These people started from nothing.
I know. They have nothing to back with.
You know,
the money was backed with.
And that's why I just don't understand it.
Well, I mean, I think the benefit to it, I mean, I know that some governments have kind of started looking at
drugs, you can buy.
Well, I mean, it's harder to steal, but also that you can do an instant transfer to someone across the world that you don't have to use the intermediary like a bank or.
They can't talk. I can't believe government's allowing it. They can't tax it. They can't trace it. For kidnapping, all the stuff for the people breaking.
I mean, there are some downsides.
Oh wait, actually,
downsides. I mean,
right?
PEDI.
That's what I can't believe government's allowing it.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
How's it any difference than us putting out dollar bills or $100 bills? Yeah.
How did we legally promise some brief Jeffrey issues?
We need to get. What's that?
Auto 25. They can use it for their.
We need to get Joe Lazaro to answer what their rights are, or a criminal defense attorney. He really needs to know that, and we should do it tomorrow.
Visit their website, JonesHomesOnline.com, and call Vern R.E. Jones at 303-359.
Keeping in the theme of finding the very best for you, again, when we talk about auto service, tomorrow is car day. Another one of my experts is Al Aramis at Pro Auto Care. Pro Auto Care is such a fine shop. 2 locations near Evans and I-25, near Bowles and Santa Fe. Al's been in business for 25 plus years, and he just prides himself at not only being knowledgeable and having a knowledgeable staff, but the honesty and ethics that he instills in his staff. It is so important. You can also rest assured that they will only recommend work you truly need, and they will do it at the best value available. They also take on your car as their own. They have a system that keeps track of your car, everything it needs, when it needs it, and they remind you about it, so you never have to worry about that. I call them my car nanny. Okay, if you want the best in service, the best in value, and a great staff, go to Pro Auto Care. Now, they have roadside assistance between every single service. It lasts 36,000 miles, so I assume if you're a customer there, you're always going to be in roadside assistance. 303-PRO-AUTO is the phone number. It's also the website, 303proauto.com.
Going out of town? Take us with you and download the iHeartRadio app today.
It's really a nice woman broke in somebody's house, stole their car, beat the dog.
Hi, Tom Martino. Welcome, 303-713-TALK. Denise, how are you doing, Denise? How can we help you? I hope we can.
Well, I'm hoping you can give me some guidance.
Sure. What's happening?
Okay, well, I sent some emails to troubleshooters, and I'm going to kind of boil it down to a short conversation. On May 8th, that big hailstorm hit.
Yes.
Okay, and so all the construction guys were very busy. We had a construction company come by, C&M. They were rated an A+ by the Better Business Bureau.
That doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. I mean.
Well, I know now.
Okay. Okay.
So when he came by, I was at work. My husband was here. They never did a contract. I found out it was
verbal.
A little agreement written on a piece of paper, like an invoice
Denise,
paper.
let's skip to this part. What is wrong?
Well, it's been a nightmare.
I know. I don't doubt that at all.
Okay.
But what's the problem? And then I'll work backward. What's the problem today, right now?
The problem right now, the main problem of this whole project was the siding they put up.
Okay, so you hired them for a project without a contract, but what was, in your mind, the agreement? In your mind, what were they supposed to do?
Well, my husband gave them the insurance paper that the insurance guy sent us.
Worst thing in the world. Worst thing in the world.
I know. And then he wrote Jamie, who worked at the time for C&M Construction.
Okay, so he gave them the insurance contract and said, "Can you get this done?" And they said yes. Is that how it worked?
Right.
And were you supposed to pay your deductible?
That never was mentioned.
How much did they say the total job was going to be? Did they give you a call?
Never, ever gave us
So you actually hired a construction company to do a job and never knew how much it was going to cost?
Well, they wrote down for insurance monies.
For insurance monies, that's what they wrote.
Yeah, so they were supposed to charge what the insurance company was giving us.
And what happened?
Well,
did they, first of all, did they do the job? Did they do the job? In their mind, if I asked them, do they feel they went and did the job?
Okay.
In their mind.
Can I just say one thing? The first time they put the siding up, they did a terrible job.
See, Denise, I'm asking you a question that is so easy to answer. And for those people who say, well, let her talk, here's the deal. It doesn't matter what she says because it's not helping her. What I need to know is, what do they feel? If I ask them, is the job done, would they say, oh, yeah, we did that job? Would they say that or not? Or would they say, oh, I still have to do this, this, and this?
No, it's done now.
Okay, now.
Yeah, they came out 3 times.
Okay, it's done now, and what is the problem today that not what happened in the past, but what is wrong today? How do we help you?
Okay, how I want the help is, this has been very upsetting to me.
Lord. Okay. I understand it's upsetting, Denise, and that's why you're calling.
Very upsetting.
And that's why I want to help you.
Work
it's terrible. You went through hell, but there is still something wrong today that made you call.
Yes. So the problem is this. He has sent I have sent him emails. I have pictures of everything.
Of what?
Here's of the poor construction. The siding
what?
fell off.
Okay, the siding. Got it. Now, the siding is falling off, and it sucks, right? Did you have anybody look at it?
Yeah.
And what did they say?
They said it needed to be redone.
The entire job?
Yep.
Okay. Other than the siding, what else? That's a big deal, but what else?
Okay. Well, the roof didn't pass the first inspection.
No, I'm not talking about first. About the roof now.
Okay. Well, here's what's going on. I wanted...
What about the roof now, Denise?
It's fine.
Okay, tell me the problems that exist today. The siding, that's big enough.
Billing.
Huh?
The billing. I want to see something because we do not agree with the amount.
How much are they charging you?
They have the first invoice they sent.
How much are they charging you total? How much?
Okay. $16,687.32.
Okay. Thank you. How much were the insurance proceeds total? I will get to the detail, but they're charging you $16,687, and part of that is siding that's falling off and has to be redone. How much was the insurance check?
Okay, $18,000.
Okay. Now, if you said for insurance monies, then why wouldn't you let them have the insurance monies if that's what the contract said? I mean, if everything was done perfectly, would you still be disagreeing with the billing?
You're making me think here.
Hold on and think. I'm going to take a break. I want you to hold on and think, okay? Rocky's Autos, 63rd and Federal. While she's thinking, I'm going to tell you about something to think about, and that is cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans. No, this is a fun thing because people, I'm really tired of some people saying I interrupt people, but here's the deal. I keep people on track. Why? Because they have a problem, and they call me. You see, I think details are important. I love Denise, and I'm sure she went through hell. But see, the hell she went through doesn't help me know what's happening today. It doesn't matter if they did the roof 3 times, if it's done. What matters is the problem now. So spare me your email that says, well, you keep interrupting her. If I did not interrupt people and keep them on track, my show would be 16 hours. 16 hours. And then we would get to the second problem. Rocky's Autos, 63rd and Federal. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 8. Seriously, you want the biggest selection of not just brands and price ranges and models, but also colors and options and lenders. That's right, 40 lenders to choose from. Price product, the process is wonderful as well. You'll make friends and great deals. A Carfax with every car, and this is family founded and operated since 1982. Here's what I tell you to do. Shop around, but put Rocky's on the list, and you'll find that when you compare, you'll choose Rocky's. But do the comparing. Apples to apples. 303-426-4646, 63rd and Federal.
This report is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts.
I don't know. That siding might be. She really does have a problem. I'm not trying to diminish the problem. I want to help her.
You're trying to get to the problem.
I know. But, you know, people think, oh, let him talk. Yeah, really? I would have a 16-hour show for one problem.
And it would be boring.
That would be funny as hell.
Just let them go off.
Along that stretch. Weather forecast.
And then my daughter came to visit.
Yeah.
It doesn't make for good radio. I'm listening to it. I don't want to hear all the...
Oh, it does when he gets on her. Oh, my God. It makes
Mark,
for great radio.
can you please take care of Chris Miller for me when it comes to Rockies? Would you please, can I forward this to you and you just handle it? Either you do things live or they're recorded on days off. I don't come in on Thanksgiving to do his spots, okay? So you explain that. I don't even have patience. And I know he likes you a lot. Thank you.
We do come in on Thanksgiving.
I mean, they should not even run a spot if they demand makeups. They should not even run them. Because if they're just going to demand makeups, this is a game. This is a game where every holiday they get that many spots extra.
And I guarantee I click them just as good. I know I do.
How do they know whether?
But then what they should do is literally not run during.
That's what I agree. Yeah, why waste my time?
If they're going to keep doing that.
Is that what you have to put you pick the show and you have to put the commercials in there?
Every holiday. Every holiday. I'll let Mark know.
Now, wait a minute. You can call in during Christmas.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're not impossible questions he's asking. I know.
Dan will come in to run the board.
Sure.
First of all, on 11/20, Dave, I would have missed a spot on 11/20.
No, why would you?
That was a Monday, 11/20.
Yep. I don't see that email though, bro.
I just sent it to you. So I did miss a spot. I mean,
well, anything's possible, but I doubt it. I mean,
This is Gary Romero of Devon's Pub. Devon's is one of Southeast Denver's best kept.
sometimes I say brought to you by, and I'll bet you they don't hear that. This hour brought to you by.
or you moved it, which we do all the time, and he fired it off at the wrong time or misfiring it off. But actually missing the spot, I highly doubt
There's
it.
nothing he fires off because they're never recorded.
Enjoy the good times.
No, I'm saying, but he still's got to say when you did the live. So if you did the live, he didn't realize you did it.
You Republicans in Washington that broke.
Found the dumbest salesman I ever talked to in my life. Didn't know what Class B or C was. He said he was new, fairly new, but.
Well, that's another thing. Andrea wants new. She's saying radio's not working.
Who?
She wants new stuff.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Hold on a second. Gary, go ahead. Gary?
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm going to go back to Denise, but I saw you had a question about addiction. It's very important.
Yeah, that's what I called. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I wanted to know if they do any spiritual type of aspect at the Raleigh House.
And when you say that, are you asking if it's actually part of our programming?
Yes.
You mean like faith-based?
Well, I mean like higher power, like AA type things.
So we use a variety of modalities, and we don't necessarily follow one specific path. We really believe that addiction isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of problem. And we really want to find a path that fits each client. We do a very individualized treatment plan.
Okay.
And if faith is part of that, we want to support the client in that path.
Okay, so if somebody expresses a need for that, that you would be able to accommodate them?
Absolutely, within reason, of course, to the programming and the other kind of pieces that we're doing. But absolutely, we don't deny or kind of favor one or the other.
I'm not trying to criticize or anything.
No. We'll answer any question.
That was important for me when I was getting sober. So
absolutely.
So let's say somebody they feel it is important. They're going to include that in your treatment options, and they're going to look to a higher power. They're not going to, they won't deny you that. But obviously, if somebody who came in who's an atheist, they're not going to say to them, well, now listen, you're going to have to get to a higher power. You see, they truly want to work with the individual.
Tom, they're the ones that need it.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You're right. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
okay, I also had another comment. Now I'll hang up. Mark should ease up a little bit because, that one person that called that was trying to help the person.
Yeah.
That's the kind of people that end up in treatment centers. I broke the law. I got thrown in.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're right. That Tom, right? Yeah, you're saying that guy that was trying to help, we should ease up on. No, I understand what you mean, Gary. You bring up a good point, and Mark makes comments all the time. Half of them he doesn't really mean it. I mean, when it gets right down to it, he gives pretty good advice. Joe, you wanted to talk about Compass Insurance. What is it, Joe?
Yeah, Tom, I just got through with Compass Insurance with my homeowner's insurance.
For the insurance checkup?
Yeah, no, I switched.
Yeah.
And I switched my auto insurance, and there was a girl down there named Julie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a senior citizen. I couldn't afford to pay the whole bit,
Mm-hmm.
I had to go on 6 months, and she worked that out with me with Acuity. and then she turned around and saved me over $500 a year.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, Tom, if you know this, Brian, I'd call up and tell him to give that lady a promotion.
I just texted him.
Good. We just let him know, and I appreciate your information. I didn't forget about Denise. Denise, I didn't forget about you. Honest to goodness, we're going to work on this. We're going to work on this off the air. We really are. Now, here's what I want to say to you.
Okay.
So far, you have a siding job that has to be completely replaced. What part of the bill is for the siding?
See, they only have...
They didn't break it down?
Price. Yeah, they never broke it down.
Okay.
And I've sent emails wanting it broken down.
Okay, Denise, if that truly has to be redone, and truly you didn't get much value, if you're going to keep the siding, then you would credit them that. But you should not pay for a defective job. You should only pay for the value you got.
Okay.
Now, we can help you.
What I know is the first invoice was a lower number than the second invoice.
Why?
By $416 difference.
How much do you think you should be billed?
My husband figured it out.
How much?
Under $13,000.
Based on what?
They did not do everything on the...
Okay, on the list.
Yeah.
How much, on the insurance list, how much of it is for the siding?
I don't know.
All right, hold on. We're going to have to take her off the air and help them out. Don't forget the Raleigh House, 720-893-5559. That's very important. 720-893-5559. Save all your problems for me. When it comes to...
Let's have Clint talk to her. If he can make headway on that one, I would be so impressed. Dan's out the frickin' door.
I know.
Oh my God, some of these people.
I love the one though in jail, and in the throes of my addiction, I spent a little time, and I always love the people that come in with the kind of bruise from the handcuffs. Like, I need to speak to an attorney. You need to photograph this. You're in county jail.
I know. So it's really sad though. I'm denied this and I'm denied that because really it is so demeaning. I mean, they don't treat you well. They just don't treat you well in jail. I don't care what you say. They don't treat you well. They treat you like shit. And no, they should not subject you to inhuman treatment or violate your civil rights. And I'm all for helping. I really want to help. But God, it's amazing what people feel they're entitled to.
And I mean, they get lied constantly, right? In jail and stuff. Everybody is.
Well, and usually it's the people that are making those kind of demands or saying that aren't following the process, and it really isn't that much of an issue. I never encountered any of that.
Really?
Like, I mean, yeah, it was terrible, but...
What was terrible? Did you ever get arrested?
Yeah. I spent a little bit of time in this.
Really?
You're very interesting. Yeah. You said what happened? You had a sports injury and stuff, and that's what...
It was a work injury. I broke my back and my hip.